will really take over. And I think this is one of those guys, right? And, you know, there's interesting people that have run for office in Florida. You've got Matt Gaetz. You've got Ron DeSantis. You've even got Laura Loomer. She ran for office a long, long time ago in a galaxy far away. So it's very interesting. Are we still having the technical problem?
I'm double checking here.
It's crazy. We've never had this issue before where it doesn't take us live on the YouTube. We're good on Rumble and we're good on X, I believe.
Yeah. That's annoying. Wow.
Yeah, that is. Well, I mean, look, we got a YouTube comment right there.
Oh, there we go.
So,
sorry, guys.
I mean, we can't necessarily trust the computer 100% of the time.
I know. I literally don't.
It's crazy. Because then it said it had been removed by the uploader. I saw that.
I know.
Yeah. Thank you, Straight Smoke 101, for verifying the YouTube is working. Very cool.
Had me nervous in the first half.
Yeah, we were a little worried about that. Here, I'm going to take control of the keyboard again.
Ahead,
bring that over here. But honestly, you're going to use it most of the night. So you should probably requisition it because we've got this game show that we want to go through, which is very fun. All right, we're good and we're ready. When is he going to join us? Because I'm sure that's what people are waiting for.
Join us in about 15 minutes, guys.
Very, very cool. Well, Tim, what do you think about this? How long do you think we're going to talk to him for?
Guaranteed 30 minutes. We might have him for an hour. We'll have to see how this goes.
3-hour death march.
It really depends on the conversation.
Yeah.
I don't know how busy he is. That's the thing.
Right.
This guy's literally actively running, and there's a lot of people that want him on the show. So,
what's up, Kyle? Howdy to you as well. Yes, but this is the gray area. Gray area. Jason Genova. Shout out to Jason Genova.
And let me just double check.
Yeah, thank you guys for being here. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate y'all being here with us tonight. Really do. We're getting a few things lined up. We're going to be joined by James Fishback here in about 15 minutes. No notification came through at all.
Oh, you got something popped up on the screen here.
What's up?
Did you put live chats to pop up there?
Nope.
All right, let me fix that.
We got to fix that. We got to fix it again.
Oh, this is funny.
Shout out to Straight Smoke. Shout out to you. Feature on the live. Go follow him on YouTube.
I think you might have clicked on the
beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Okay.
Wow, that's a new feature.
Interesting. That's cool.
That's actually cool.
Yeah, that's actually cool that we can do that.
Do that
right?
again. Do that again.
Yeah, we'll test it. We'll do. Yeah.
Okay.
All
right. I kind of like that.
We're evolving. We're evolving through randomly smashing the keyboard. We're learning how to do things. We're elevating our minds. So
totally elevated.
Yeah. No, this is cool, man. I want to do more stuff like this. And like we talked about it on the show, local politics are key to everything. And that's where actually you have a real chance of affecting change. Because, I mean, what is a president? Ultimately, it's a guy on a hill 1,000 miles away from you who has control of the federal government.
Yep.
Versus you have like, you know, a city comptroller, a state senator. You have someone running for a governorship of a state. Those are elections where people can actually make their voices heard. And we've seen that. We've seen that over the course of, you know, just like recent history, right? And, you know, people forget, maybe we'll ask him about this, maybe we won't. Ron DeSantis, Andrew Gillum, when that race went down, Ron DeSantis barely won. And they wanted like a referendum, I think, and it was all crazy, but he barely scraped by. And you look at him and he's beloved in Florida. He basically fixed the state, did all these phenomenal things for him.
Yeah. And
what do you think about that?
And the thing about DeSantis, too.
That's hard to live up to.
There's no buyer's remorse from Floridians.
No.
I always hear all really good things. He's done some fantastic common sense laws. And that's actually why I like Texas and Florida at the same time.
Right.
Because like DeSantis, they're like, we're not playing games with like these squatters' rights. Like there's no squatters' rights in Florida.
Right.
Like you can't sit there, take somebody to court because some homeless guy decided to break into your house and just plant his flag and say, well, I'm going to sit here and I have this paper that says I own your house right now and you can't kick me out. No, common sense in Florida now, because of what they've done, it says, okay, look, you do that, it's the owner's right to kick you out. And those are the things that like we need.
Right. I like it. I gotta say, like as a Southern guy, as a Texas guy, I really like, you know, some of the self-defense law that they have down there and some of the freedoms that they enjoy. You know, there's also interesting things, and there's also, you know, you live there, you might deal with a hurricane or three, you know, situations like that. So I don't know what it means to be a Floridian. I have visited there. I've been there a few times. Have you been to Florida?
Yeah, we used to take trips to Florida every
nice
holiday to escape the weather, like you said.
The New York,
New York, Connecticut people.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Take Florida trips all the time. Orlando, Kissimmee, those were like the areas we primarily visited. But I haven't been there too much as an adult. These days.
I've never been to Miami. I hear that that's pretty cool. That's a cool place to go.
It's a different beast.
Drive around in a giant expensive car with a bunch of like Cuban.
Yeah, but most of those people are like fake. The guys who just like go out there and flex. Yeah, but hey, that's the rented Lamborghini.
It's just a lifestyle, man. That's what those people. It's what Miami's about.
That's actually one of the reasons why I chose Texas over Florida, specifically.
More humble.
Yeah, I was like, you know what?
More flat, flat land, nothing going on.
Yeah,
like you're 300 miles inland right now. Like there's
no natural disasters,
no earthquakes. We're on limestone,
right
over here.
And that was one of the reasons why I bought real estate. I was literally deciding between buying real estate in Texas and Florida for that reason. And you got to get all these types of flood insurance and things like that. And insurance companies are like, it's kind of a mess. But DeSantis is still doing a good job. And honestly, I think Fishback right now, what he's going on to preach about is he's like, look, DeSantis did a really good job. My goal is to push a lot of these things that he's done and like double down.
Just go forward into the future. Right. I agree with that. And I think that's what people want. And, it would make me sad. And obviously it does make me sad because it's reality. And it's just a fact that, Trump can just come out and endorse someone and try to essentially hand him a race. Right. And we see that with like Massey, like he's trying to get rid of him and other stuff like that. And that's very interesting to me. And, that's nuanced. And we'll see what Fishback thinks about stuff like that. But we're very interested in this race, and having found out about it more, like there's just more I want to learn and more I want to know.
100%. And actually,
are we ready?
James is actually sitting in the lobby here, so we're gonna go ahead and pull him on shortly here. I think.
Awesome. Just let us know when you're ready.
Well, let's try to see if we pull him on. No, you got to pull him on the stage.
All right. How are you doing, James?
I'm doing great. Hey guys, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, how are you doing?
I'm good.
All right. Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear. This is good.
Nice. So how are you doing, man? How are you enjoying running for office? What's that like?
It's a lot of McDonald's, a lot of fast food.
Yeah.
Trump diet.
It's Trump diet. 100% diet.
Nice.
Hold on. I think his connection.
We're having a bit of a connection issue.
A little bit of a connection issue with you. Give us 1 second. Yeah, he's frozen.
It'll all be good in a second, guys.
Let me pull.
I don't think it's on our end. Go ahead.
Let's pull up something. James, can you still hear us?
Okay, I think he's going to try to call back in.
Okay. Yeah.
I think he's just going to try to call back in.
I
see what you're doing.
It's that hotel internet, probably. But let's actually go ahead and introduce James via this.
So James Fishback, he's a 31-year-old Republican running for Florida governor. He's making his first run ever for public office. He's a fourth-generation Floridian. He started his career in finance. He founded a hedge fund. He later launched Incubate Debate, which is a nonprofit that hosts free debate tournaments for high school students. In 2025, he gained national attention for proposing the Doge dividend, a plan to return government savings directly to Americans as cash payments. Ooh, that sounds pretty good to me, Now he's positioning himself as the next generation successor to Ron DeSantis, who everyone likes. He's pledged to continue Florida's culture war battles, tackle the cost of living crisis, and eliminate property taxes on homesteads. He's also refusing PAC money and says he won't accept donations from groups of foreign ties, drawing sharp contrast with better-known Republican rivals like Byron Donalds. Very, very interesting. And we're just waiting for him to rejoin. And might be a minute, might be a few minutes. It's like Tim said, it's probably that hotel internet.
It's probably the internet.
Yeah. He'll join us here in a little while.
No worries.
All right. Let's talk about
it was a little sneak peek.
Little teaser clip before the main interview. Trust me, we're going to get it done. But going forward and continuing from here, do you think that oh, never mind. Do you think that we see more imminent chaos in Venezuela, or do you think it cools off for a couple of weeks, Tim?
What do you
think is going to happen?
It's just a start, man.
Yeah,
it's just a start. And then we talked about on our last stream last night. We covered this at probably like 7 or 8 or something like that. But long story short, Trump is saying, well, the VP is going to agree, and whoever they put in power is going to agree with whatever America's demands are. And literally, the VP who has been now put in place of power instead of Maduro, literally saying, we're not conceding anything. We're going to declare a national emergency. So, I mean, at that point, you've got two people saying different things. So what are we supposed to expect at that point?
Right. I want to go to this Rubio clip while we wait for James, and I want to watch it and review it with you really quick.
People are asking where he's at. He just had a connection issue, so he's going to try to hop back on. I think something's going on with his internet.
It's the hotel Wi-Fi.
It's the hotel Wi-Fi potentially.
It's problems for running for office.
100%.
Sacrifices you got to make. But let's go ahead and go to this for a little while.
Over.
China. And now they say no volume when we play clips.
Is it?
Yeah. They're saying no volume.
All right,
they're saying
let's fix that.
What's going on there?
I got it. Just go ahead.
Is that the input issue?
Yeah, probably.
We appreciate everyone for being here with us tonight. Really do. And this is why, if you want to help support the show and help the show grow, if you want to help us get a switcher, someone to help us on the technical end, so we don't have to do every single bit of it by ourselves, you can go to goprimalcore.com. You can check out the phenomenal supplement and nutritional products that we have there. I think you're really going to like what we have on goprimalcore.com. You can use code CORE25 to get 25% off. I designed the Elemental Drive product specifically for men who want to raise their testosterone and free testosterone. I would highly recommend checking that out, and it really does help support the show and helps us actually get someone in here to help us on the technical side.
All right, let's see something real quick.
All right, he's back.
We're gonna add James back. Okay, now you are clear. All right, let's see. Can you hear us?
I can. That was censorship that was going on.
Yeah, that was the chai comms.
Can you guys hear James okay in the chat, guys? Just everybody kind of spam in there. Let us know if you can hear James and us real quick. All right. I think everybody can hear you. We kind of did a little mini intro for you, but we've got some new people. Let's go ahead and introduce James a little bit. We prepared ourselves for this one. So we're just going to introduce you for people who may know you, who may not know you.
I read it. I'll read it again. James Fishback is a 31-year-old Republican running for Florida governor. He's making his first run for public office. He's a fourth-generation Floridian. He started his career in finance. He founded a hedge fund and later launched Incubate Debate, which is a nonprofit that hosts free debate tournaments for high school students. In 2025, he gained national attention for proposing the Doge dividend. Sounds pretty good to me. A plan to return government savings directly to Americans as cash payments. Now he's positioning himself as the next generation successor to Ron DeSantis. He's pledged to continue Florida's culture war battles, tackle the cost of living crisis, eliminate property taxes on homesteads. He's also refusing PAC money and says he won't accept donations from groups with foreign ties, drawing a sharp contrast with better-known Republican rivals like Byron Donalds. And I want to hear a lot about him tonight. That was my first question to you. Who is this guy? Who is this Byron Donalds that you're running against?
Well, thanks for that nice intro. Can you come do events with us and kind of hype up the crowd with that? That was pretty darn good.
100%.
Sure, I appreciate it, man. Appreciate it, man. Well, we like you. We're excited to have you on the show.
I appreciate it. Thanks, guys. And Happy New Year. So Byron Donalds is less of a person and more of a concept of the Republican Party that we rejected when President Trump came down the escalator in 2015. The Republican Party that was obsessed with GDP, the stock market, profit margins, was effectively corporatist at times as well as globalist. And so I'm running as a Republican that is unapologetically America first, unapologetically economic nationalist. And my vision for my state that my family is now known for 4 generations is very simple. We are the best state in the country. No offense to anyone else, anywhere else. but we're the
Okay.
best state in the country. But that means nothing if the people who made this the best state in the country can no longer afford to live here. I meet young people, seniors, working families every single day over the last 5 weeks as I've traveled my state who tell me that they're doing everything right, but they just cannot get ahead, whether that's getting a great paying job because our country's been sold off to foreign labor like H-1Bs. If that means buying their first home, but they can't because it was outbid by Blackstone or by a foreign national. If that means by the grace of God, they do buy that home, they're stuck with property insurance that's skyrocketing, HOAs that are borderline criminal, and now property taxes that are an unconstitutional wealth tax on their own home. And so if I could sum it up very simply, I'm running for Florida governor to make life more affordable for people and their families.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Now I have a question for you outside of the politics, because we'll get back to the politics, but I think people need to understand your personal side. And one of the things that I think people don't realize is there's a sacrifice that comes when you're running. And, you know, you're 31, no wife, no kids, and you've chosen kind of this path of kind of having a not normal life in terms of like you're in front of the cameras, you've got a lot going on, you're in the game. And
you're in the game.
what do you feel like you're sacrificing by going this route? And do you feel for yourself if it's worth it?
I feel that it's worth it for my state. If there were someone in this race who represented this vision, and it's not a vision that I came up with, right? It is a vision that has been the result of an intense debate within the Republican Party. I'm sorry, I'm sick of this idea that we can't criticize our own party. We absolutely can. And we should. And look, there's two strands of the Republican Party: those that want to shell for corporations, those that want to shill for immigration, whether it's H-1B or illegal, it doesn't matter. So I think there's a real hunger and a real appetite for this vision that I'm running on. Honestly, the biggest sacrifice is spending a lot of time on the road and eating a lot of McDonald's and Chipotle. But it comes with the beauty of it is I get to see my state in a way that I haven't really seen it in a long time. I mean, I grew up in South Florida. I now live in the Eastern Panhandle, small town called Madison, 20 miles south of the Georgia line. But I get to go to meet with citrus growers on a Sunday, then go spend time at a Catholic church, and then go meet with people, young people who feel like they're doing everything right. They graduate. They didn't take gender studies. They actually did the whole STEM thing that we were told to do by Democrats and Republicans. And then they find out that Amazon, Meta, Google, all these top tech companies don't want anything to do with them. Not because they're not hiring. It's because they're not hiring those pesky Americans. You know, those Americans that want a market wage, those Americans that actually want a fair shot at employment. No, they'd much rather import cheap foreign labor from India. Not because Indian labor is better, not because they're smarter than us, but because they're wage slaves, because these companies don't give a crap about our country. They want to boost their third quarter profit margins so their EPS can beat expectations, so their CEO and CFO can take home another $10 million. And if that means the working people who built our country get screwed over, then so be it. And so I am not the Republican that's going to shill for the country club ideals, for the business chamber of commerce ideals. I am running off a very simple principle. America is for Americans. I believe in MAGA. I believe in Make America Great Again, but you cannot make America great again, Tim, with Indians, with Chinese. You certainly can't make America great again with Haitians. You can make America great again solely for Americans. And so if we are going to advance an America First agenda that works for everybody, it's got to work for everybody. And by everybody, I mean American citizens in rural counties like Madison, Hernando, but also urban counties like Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach. And that's why I've been, over the last 5 weeks, gone to 12 different counties. We got 27 events over the course of January, and I'm going to meet voters where they are, not to give stump speeches, but to take questions directly from them. I did that for almost 2.5 hours yesterday, took over 20 questions. Nothing is off limits. Floridians deserve a governor that they can see, talk to, and even debate with.
Man, you got it. You're like a laser beam. You're like, and that's what you need. That's what you need to be effective. That's what you need to get people to notice you. That's what you need to win, honestly. And you know, I feel like there are a lot of people like you, just real organic, raw talents that want to be in the political space and want to help people and fix things. And I think a lot of the time they get forced out by that big money, right? Because ultimately it's like a David versus Goliath scenario where you're running against someone that has, you know, orders of magnitude more funding for ads and campaigns and running like grassroots foundational stuff. How do you deal with that? And what does MAGA mean to you? Because Trump would say MAGA means whatever he says it means. Trump would say MAGA means Byron Donalds. What does MAGA mean to you?
Byron Donalds is definitely not MAGA. He's not America First. He's barely a Republican. He's the kind of Dick Cheney, George Bush Republican that would get us into foreign wars, then would tell us, as he did 2 weeks ago at the University of Florida, that the reason why he supports the H-1B program is because, quote, our children are not economically viable yet. That is language pulled directly from Klaus Schwab, Davos, World Economic Forum. Look, Americans are the smartest, hungriest, most brilliant people on the face of the earth. And the second we stop apologizing for who we are is the moment we start winning again. And so what Make America Great Again means to me is actually making America great for the people who made it great in the first place. And I'm sorry, that's not the immigrants who got here 3 months ago who are lecturing us and saying that we are living on stolen land. That is not for little Mogadishu known as Minneapolis. That is not for the Haitian immigrants who Byron Donalds said in January of 2025 are, quote, integral to the Sunshine State. That is to white men, black men, Christian, Muslim, Jew, all over our state who have been a part of making what we do special. And I'm running for governor so they can have a fighter in Tallahassee who's not going to look out for big business, but is going to look out for them. Because I'll tell you the truth, our country is being replaced right before our eyes. The truth that Republicans don't speak enough about is that our country is being auctioned off, and the very people who built it, they're seeing their jobs taken and shipped overseas, or the people imported from overseas to take their jobs right here in America. They're seeing their homes scooped up from under them, hoarded by Blackstone, BlackRock, Airbnb, and foreign nationals. Just give you one stat. 52% of all new home sales in Miami-Dade County, 52% of all new home sales in Miami-Dade County are going to foreign nationals. That means that if you're a young couple who wants to get married, who wants to have kids, that very decision to settle down, to buy dirt, to put a couple branches on your family tree is going to be a coin flip between you and a communist from China, between you and a snowbird from Canada, between you and a private equity firm. I am never, ever going to let home ownership be hijacked by private equity or foreign nationals. I believe, as most Floridians do, that homes are for families. They are not something to be traded between hedge funds and private equity firms.
That's excellent point. And you did say, like, you know, people can't start families if they can't afford homes. So my question is like, you know, that is the whole point of Florida, being able to earn, raise a family, retire with dignity. What do you actually feel is standing in the way of that right now?
A lot. So I think affordability, we think about affordability in terms of the cost of things, but I think we should get real for a second. If everything doubled, but our take-home pay tripled, none of us would be complaining about affordability, right? It's the fact that stuff has gotten so much more expensive, but our take-home pay has not gone up at the same pace. And so when we start with affordability, we think about it from two levers. How can we bring costs down? And when I say bring costs down, I don't mean to say that inflation was 5% and now it's 3%. When I say bring costs down, I mean literally your electric bill was $100 last year per month, and now it's $85. I believe that affordability, if you're going to deliver on that, you have to actually bring down the cost of goods and services. That's the first lever. The second, it's the most foundational part, is how can we bring up wages? How can we bring up take-home pay? What holds down take-home pay is cheap foreign labor that has utterly inundated our labor market here in Florida. And guys, this is personal for me. My own dad cut trees for 20 years in South Florida. We had a great living growing up. And then suddenly an earthquake devastates Haiti. And the Democrats and Republicans decide that we have to be generous and let in 100,000 Haitians. They all came to Florida. And because they couldn't exactly become SAT tutors, they took on manual labor like tree trimming and landscaping and put my dad out of business. Not because he wasn't good at his job, not because he let down his clients, but because our politicians, Democrat and Republican, let down people like my dad and said, you know what? Our generosity is not extended to white men or black men in Florida. It is extended to foreigners who have no claim to our birthright, who have no allegiance to our flag, and have done nothing for our country. And so I'm in this race because I've seen the ills of mass migration affect my own family. It put us on food stamps. It nearly pushed my parents on the brink of bankruptcy. And I don't want that to happen to anyone else. And Today, foreign labor is as worse as it's ever been. The H-1B program, what it does is it allows companies like Dell, Microsoft, Intel, Accenture, it doesn't matter, companies to just bring in cheap foreign labor at half the cost of American labor. And now those people who graduate, who did everything right, who studied STEM, they can't even get a job. And this is not just white collar. It's also blue collar. You go to Disney World, those concession stands at Epcot or Magic Kingdom where they sold popcorn, they used to be staffed by young men and women from all over our state, rural areas like Pahokee, but urban areas like Fort Lauderdale and Miami. And guess what? They're staffed by Filipinos, Thai, and Indonesians. I'm sorry, that is wrong. Those jobs belong to Floridians. Those jobs belong to Americans. We should not be selling off our entire labor market because a company like Disney wants to boost its fourth quarter earnings. And so I think if we get back to this idea that our economy should serve our people first and foremost, we'll clear up a lot of the problems. When people can get great paying jobs, they can afford stuff. When they can afford stuff, they can start a family, they can buy a home, they can do and live out the full arc of the American dream. But we cannot do that when quite literally our very existence is being called into question because Democrats and Republicans will shill for H-1Bs, will shill for big companies, will shill for all of that nonsense, and will never look out for us.
Honestly, phenomenal take on that. And the thing is like you and I can agree, and I think Rex also agrees on the America First concept in terms of like money going overseas makes no sense. Even the stuff that's happening in Venezuela where we're spending all that money just to attack makes no sense, and it's all being paid for tax dollars. So like we always say this proudly, America First, and you know, it's not, and that's not a wrong concept because everybody has been disenfranchised to believe that, you know, we should have it any other way.
Right. We're allowed to ask for things for ourselves. We're allowed to say, okay, if we're the greatest country in the world, then we need to have a higher standard of living. Then we need to take care of our own people first. Then we need to have jobs and healthcare available for our people. And like, that's the message that I hear from you. And I think that you're really spot on about that. How do you see things progressing in the future with your campaign? Like going into it, go ahead.
Well, before that, specifically, because I want us to address this America First. My question for you is like, we're not disagreeing on the America First, but all ideologies go up to a certain point in which there's a threshold. Do you think that there's a mindset in which we've crossed the line too far with America First, or what's your view on that?
What side of the line existing do you stand on between the neocon side and then kind of, you know, the new rising side?
So I think we get caught up in these debates about where the line is. I think you draw the line very simply that America is for Americans, and we're not shipping our tax dollars overseas, and we're not handing out welfare to legal or illegal immigrants. You know, for the longest time, Rex, we've been told that illegal immigration is bad, but legal immigration is good. That's a lie. That's an absolute lie. An invasion of our country of third world immigrants is bad. I don't care if the Republicans and Democrats in the DC swamp blessed it or not. It is wrong. Let's be very clear about something. The Afghan refugee that came to our country after the Joe Biden disaster, he was here legally. That same man that shot 2 of our National Guardsmen 1 block from the White House the night before Thanksgiving, he was here legally because Byron Donalds, my opponent, passed Joe Biden's Allies Act, which lowered the vetting requirements for Afghan refugees into our state. Number 2, the Haitians in Springfield, the Haitians here in Florida, they're not here illegally. They have temporary protected status going all the way back to the earthquake. And yet they have no value. They bring no value to our country. And third, and it's almost kind of crazy to say this, but we have to, the 9/11 hijackers were here legally. They were here legally in the United States. So let's disabuse ourselves of the idea that if it's legal immigration, it's okay. An invasion of our country is an invasion of our country. Whether the DC bureaucrat elites blessed it or not, that is irrelevant. I am running for Florida governor to stop the great replacement of our people. If we can't get jobs because they were sold off to H-1Bs, we can't exist in our own country. If we can't get into colleges because DC wants to bring over 600,000 Chinese students, we can't get an education. And if we can't buy a home because Blackstone, Airbnb, and foreign nationals can hoard those homes, take those homes from us and put us in chains, relegate us to 50 years of debt slavery, known as the 50-year mortgage, then we don't have a country anymore. We are just simply an economic zone like Dubai or Hong Kong, and our entire identity as Americans, our birthright, has been stolen from us.
Well,
I'm
you know,
to save that.
You raise a very interesting point there where you talk about the 50-year mortgage. And, no one was more oorah for Trump than me. I remember being like 14, 15 years old, watching him come down that escalator, like you talk about, watching the first Republican debate, the primary debate, and telling my father, I said, that guy's going to be president. And he like laughed at me and called me an idiot and said I didn't know what I was talking about. But I recognized the aura of someone actually saying and coming in and making the point of saying, I'm going to be America first. I'm going to embody that spirit of the country of improving the life for the everyman. And I've been very critical of him, especially in the second administration, because the excuse that was given the first time was, well, the appointees may or may not have been the best, but it is what it is. He's not a politician. Well, I would make the argument that he is a politician now. And some of these things that I think we're given sometimes, it's just like a white rabbit that distracts us from the actual situation. You look at $300 billion spent in Ukraine. I understand Biden did most of that, but Trump has continued to do it. And you look at that money, you go, how much could that help out ordinary Americans? James, what's your stance on foreign conflict and specifically the expense of it in blood and treasure for the United States and for Floridians?
So my take on this actually is that what the president did in Venezuela yesterday is completely aligned with the America First framework. And the reason why is Maduro was a homicidal communist dictator who opened up the prisons and let tens of thousands of gangbangers like Tren de Aragua flood our country when Kamala Harris was the border czar, took over entire complexes in Colorado, terrorized women, poisoned our communities with addictive drugs like cocaine and fentanyl. Maduro was right to be captured by the president. He'll now stand trial and he'll have to pay for the children he's orphaned and the widows that he has made. But to then put troops on the ground and play this nation building experiment, that's where I think the president recognizes that would be a line too far. Afghanistan was a disaster. Iraq was a disaster. The idea that these unsalvageable hellholes could now become vibrant democracies and constitutional republics, that's just, it's a lie, and it cannot happen.
Do you think we go into Colombia? Do you see that happening?
No, I don't think we do. I think Venezuela was an actual threat very clearly. Hundreds, so in my own state of Florida, there's 370,000 Venezuelans, 100,000 Venezuelan migrants in recent years. Honestly, Maduro's gone. It's time for the Venezuelan migrants here in Florida to go back, go make your country great. You came here, and I actually believe a lot of the Venezuelans that I've met, that they came here genuinely out of fear of Maduro and political persecution. Maduro's gone. It's time for you to go back and make your country great. And this is not some Panglossian idea that Venezuela can't be great. No, Venezuela was the richest country in South America. It had the highest number of private jets per capita. It had rule of law, a strong border, a vibrant economy, the largest proven oil reserves on planet Earth, more than Saudi Arabia, more than Iran. Venezuela can be a great country again. Maduro is gone, but we cannot control that fate and future. We cannot put troops on the ground. It's up to the Venezuelan people to make their country great. And I'm now calling right here, right now. I'll do it for you guys, Rex and Tim. I'm calling on every Venezuelan who has come here because of Maduro to pack up your bags and to go home. Your country needs you. Be brave. The brave thing to do is not to come here and to stay here any longer than you said you were going to need to be here. I believe many of you were genuine. Many of you were genuine and came and fled the political persecution under that communist homicidal dictator. But that man has been taken out because of President Trump's bold leadership and the special operators who were successful under his direct orders. Maduro's gone. You don't have an excuse. Go back to your country and make it great.
Do we own their oil? Does it belong to us? How does this work?
It probably does, because if you look at what happened about 20 years ago under Chavez, he totally kicked out American oil companies. Those resources were ours. We built that infrastructure. I don't know that the president or Americans want to entertain some big debate about oil reserves in Venezuela. What I think we need to do right now is recognize that if all of the Venezuelans who are here get up and leave, that if all the Tren de Aragua gangbangers get sent to CCOT, if all of these people get out of our country, that's going to save us billions of dollars a year. We can have a debate about the oil another day, but right here, right now, if we can get the people out of our country who came here as a result of Maduro, if they can go back to their country and make it great, we will have saved billions of dollars a year in welfare, in Medicaid, in food stamps, that's going to be enough savings. I think there's a time to be had about the oil, but at the end of the day, we have to actually get real about what can happen here in the near term.
Now, don't you think though, with that being said, that, you know, there has to be some stability in terms of Venezuela before people can go back, right? Because right now, I mean,
We took
Trump,
their leader.
yeah, we took their leader. Their vice president went into office and is sworn in. They declared a state of national emergency. They're basically saying, well, we will defend ourselves from the colonialists. She's saying, like, we're not going to concede. But then you have Trump saying, well, you know, I talked to them. They're going to give us whatever we want. And we're going to put like Rubio as the head for a little bit. Like, so how do you, what's the timing look like for that? If the Venezuelans were to get back, don't you need a nice baseline level before they go back?
Well, I think the baseline level is the homicidal dictator that ordered his own troops to open fire on protesters to run them over. That man is out of power now. And so what the exact post-Maduro transition looks like, that has to be in the hands of the Venezuelan people. I don't support Marco Rubio being the governor of the Venezuelan protectorate. And I don't think President Trump is even entertaining that. I think President Trump was right when he said no new foreign wars. And this is not going to be a foreign war. This was simply a strategic operation to capture somebody that had already been indicted by a grand jury in New York City for the poison that he pushed into our community, the addictive poison that killed thousands of Americans every single year. Maduro and his wife are responsible. They essentially used that country to run a drug trafficking cartel. And ultimately, he's out of power. I tell the Venezuelans, look, don't let perfect be the enemy of the good. You told us that you came here because of Maduro. Maduro's now gone. Your country needs you. Your country needs you. Be brave and go back and do the right thing.
Okay.
So you're Florida first. You're calling for a Florida first vision, and how you see that is by getting houses and homes and affordable stuff for Floridians, and then making sure that people that are here on asylum go back to the places that they're from.
That's
Right.
exactly right. I think that our schools, our homes, our community, our state, and our country is for our people. And it's not for people who got here 3 weeks ago and suddenly want to lecture us about being on stolen land and what it actually means to be an American. And so I'm running because the America First vision is not for one class of people, one faith of people, no, it's for all Americans, American citizens. And that's what I'm trying to build.
Okay. Now I have a question, not to pivot too far, but so in 2022, at some point you were seeking a seat on the Federal Reserve Board, and you kind of emphasized your loyalty to Trump. Now you're running against the establishment. What do you feel like shifted for you in terms of those two versions of Fishback that was then and versus now? Like, where do you feel like your transition has occurred?
So I think what you're referring to is there was a short-term vacancy on the U.S. Federal Reserve.
Yeah.
Because someone resigned and disgraced over an ethics violation, and I called the president. I called the president.
That's the one.
Yeah. And I called him up and I said, you know, sir, I've been studying monetary policy as a macro trader for the last 10 years. You and I are on the same page that interest rates should be a lot lower because the golden age cannot happen if young people cannot buy homes. And one of those impediments that's being foisted on young people is the fact that 30-year mortgage rates are the highest they've been in 24 years. That's out of President Trump's control. That's fully within the control of the Federal Reserve. And that's a guy, by the way, Jerome Powell, who has been obstinate and recalcitrant in every step of the way. This is the guy that right before the 2024 election cut rates by the largest amount in 4 years, but won't do anything because he hates Donald Trump. And so I told him that I am loyal to his vision for the Federal Reserve, which is to lower interest rates. My loyalty is to one man and one man only, and that is Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior. I am running because my Christian faith has been a guiding principle for me. And my life verse is Luke 6:46. Why do you call me Lord, Lord, and not do as I say? I think more Christians, including myself, would be wise not to view our Lord and Savior as simply our Savior, but as our Lord as well, that he's laid out very clear precepts for us to follow. And one of those precepts, I think, is well articulated by St. Paul in 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 8, that if anyone denies his own, he denies his faith. That is the essence of the America First movement, that we have glazed Haitians, we have glazed Somalians, we have given them money, resources, Obama phone, food stamps, all of that. But our own people are being treated like second-class citizens in our own country. That is un-American and it is un-Christian, and I'm running for governor to fix that.
Wow. Wow. Like I said earlier, you're on the ball, man. Like you're one of those people that can make it. And I can see it, you know?
Yeah, I
Really.
totally agree. And you know, I respect the fact that you're running on this platform with
You're
everything
so articulate.
very articulate.
Seriously.
And it's
Wow.
kind of hard to believe you're older than us, but you're
Right.
not like Unc where you're like 38 or 40 or 50 or something
young
like
guy.
that.
Yeah.
You're a young guy like who's like pretty much you know, taking this at a very early age, because I consider still early 30s to be an early age. Now, let's say like you get one term as governor. What's the one thing that if you don't get done, you feel like you would fail?
Well, let me do something, Tim, that I probably shouldn't say publicly.
Okay. Okay.
If I'm elected Florida governor this year, and in my 4 years, at the end of my 4 years, if I do not bring down costs for Floridians, do not vote me for reelection. Do not give me a second term. Do not and let my opponents play this video in 2030 all they want. If I, as governor, do not bring down the costs and bring up wages and make life more affordable for my state, do not reelect me. Byron Donalds would never say that on camera, would never put himself in a position where he could be tested in a very simple binary. And so I am running because I have nothing to lose. And I want to deliver for a state that my family has known for 4 generations. My dad grew up here. My grandfather, after fighting World War II, came here, taught at Florida Atlantic University, was one of the first people, called up Steve Wozniak himself, was a pioneer in the personal computer. And then when he had free time, he was running hundreds of head of cattle, a couple counties over in Okeechobee. My great-grandfather fought in World War I and then came to Florida to run a small motel on Fort Lauderdale Beach that my grandfather and my grandmother ran themselves as well. And so I'm in this because I love our state. And what I'm seeing happen is not just, I'm sorry, I'm sick and tired of like the left. It's the Democrats. No, guys, get serious. The drag queen is not stopping you from buying a home. Of course, we don't want drag queens.
It's the special interest in the massive companies. Yeah.
Right.
It's the BlackRock.
Yeah. It's all of that. And, you know, there was this tweet that came out, this headline that the Florida Republican Party, the Tallahassee legislators, you know what their new mission is in the new session, Tim, is they want to ban paper straws. How about you ban Blackstone from buying up our homes from under our feet and turning us into a country of renters, which is to say a country of slaves? Why do you stop? Why don't you stop with the performative GOP establishment slop, the bread and circus that looks to us and says, you know what? You don't have a right to complain because we got the drag queens out, because we banned the paper straws, and because we got that pride sidewalk cleaned up. Of course, I don't want to see that LGBT nonsense. When I'm walking out of Catholic church, having taken in the Holy Eucharist of my Lord and Savior. Of course, I don't want to see a drag queen with latex talking to kids in a park. But guys, we won that culture war. It's done. It's gone. Let's fight the new war.
Right.
And the war is
that's not what's taking the food out of people's mouths.
That's not.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
That's
sorry,
not what's
the drag queen did not outbid you on your home. That was Blackstone. The problem is Blackstone has bought off the left and the right. And that's why I say this election is not about left versus right. It's about right versus wrong, good versus evil. And the evil is that companies can come here and treat us like second-class serfs in our own country. We're done with that. We're done apologizing for it. And we're not going to be intimidated anymore.
It's always been crazy to me that foreign nationals can buy land here. It's always been nuts.
It's crazy because you're not allowed to do that there. If you and I were to fly up to Canada right now and say, hey, we're going to buy this. If there was a Canadian couple, and God bless them, a Canadian couple who said, hey, we bought the perfect home. We got the perfect home in Montreal. It's a 3-bed, 2-bath. We got 1 baby on the way. We want to have 3 more kids. We're Catholics and we want to buy this home. And then here comes Rex and James with some extra money, and we're going to buy this home. We're going to outbid them by $500. And their entire life plan is now ruptured, is torn asunder because a foreigner who has no right to that land, who does not pledge allegiance to the Canadian flag. Guess what? Canada banned that 2 years ago. They banned foreign nationals from buying property in their country. Say what you want about Trudeau. Say what you want about Canada. That was based. And I'm sorry, I'm doing that
Interesting.
on day one. I am signing an executive order to ban foreign nationals, Blackstone, BlackRock, Airbnb from buying up our single family communities. I'll tell you right now, you did not sign up for a country where a private equity firm using hundreds of billions of dollars in overseas capital from China, of all places, can come outbid you and stop you from buying a home that was preconditional to you starting a family, to you getting married, to you having kids, to you living out the full arc of the American dream here in the Sunshine State. I'll see him in court, but I'm going to do everything in my power to stop that from happening, because homes belong to us, not to them.
Are you concerned at all? Like, let's say, and I think these are all great points. I think the fact of, you know, these executive orders and exerting a power that's necessary in order to get a specific agenda that actually helps the people is something that's necessary. But that doesn't come without the cost of the lobbying, the interest groups that, you know, are getting paid off of these types of programs.
You're gonna have to deal.
You're gonna have to deal with a lot of slop,
a lot of folks,
and not even just that. Like people who, you know, I would, lack of a better word, the people who sit inside the shadows who you don't know about. How do you feel like you're going to deal with those people who like say, well, I'm the real guy in power here. These people are just figureheads.
Right. How do you deal with that? Like Putin always says, like the men in the black suits, they come in the room and they tell you what's what. How do you deal first day in office with groups like that? What do you tell them?
I don't meet with them. You don't meet with them because if you're a politician, you've been in this game for a long time, like Byron, you're compromised. You have an AIPAC handler, you have a BlackRock handler, you already have the donors. I mean, this guy's got $40 million and he gets upset when I call him a slave. I'll stop calling him a slave if he gives back the money and stops acting like a slave. It's that simple. When he goes out and says that hedge fund managers like Jeff Yass have given him $5 million, the same Jeff Yass that has bought TikTok with Larry Ellison is now changing the algorithm to punish certain criticisms of a certain foreign government. No, not okay, Byron. And so it's not about that all of a sudden you're inaugurated and there's a secret army that comes into play. No, the secret army has already started. It's the lobbyists, it's the donors, it's AIPAC. Byron Donalds has already been bought and paid for. He was auctioned off long ago. $40 million, I guess, was his price. My price is no, I'm not taking any of that money. And if that means I'm going to get outspent 3-1, 4-1, so be it. President Trump was outspent by Hillary Clinton 4-1. Look how that turned out. He was outspent by Kamala Harris 4-1. Look how that turned out. So if Byron Donalds wants to outraise and outspend me, so be it. He's got money, we've got people, and I'll take people every day of the week.
You know, you don't have to agree with everything, but I really love the fire in your belly, and I think we need that in American politics. I think a lot of the problems that people have with the modern just administration and GOP as a whole is it's kind of like that fake energy, right? Like they're trying to get you excited about something when your life's not getting better.
The politician talk is what I call it.
Right.
The guy who smiles to your face and says, we're going to do
we're
really
gonna
good
fix things for you. And then nothing happens, where I see you have kind of that righteous anger towards these situations. You look at it and how it's impacted people in your life, people in your neighborhood, people in your state, people in your country. And you're like, I've had enough of this. Right. And I support that.
Yeah, and honestly, it's probably the caffeine. I'm on 5 shots in right now, so I'm kind of fired up.
Nice.
But for me, it's, you know, I'm not personally wealthy. I spent a lot of time working at a hedge fund, an investment firm, but I'm thinking about these very questions as someone who has struggled with affordability in my own life, and to see my own friends and my own family struggle under the weight of that. And so I'm just going to be myself, and that is a little bit unhinged at times, and maybe it's not politically correct, but
it's good.
We're going to hit the ground running.
Keep being you, man. I think that's what's going to take you to success. And you know, like I'm really interested now, you know, and I'm just a guy from Texas in another state, and something that's interesting to me. And we talk about Texas and Florida, and we say we're the best. You guys say you're the best. That's cool, and we can leave that alone. Something that we really do have in common is the COVID period and the amount of freedom that our states had versus other places where you were at. Tim was basically on lockdown.
I was in New York.
Yeah, he was in New York.
I was in the best place in the entire world when it came down to COVID.
Right. So like I'm driving around, I'm going to stores, I'm not wearing a mask, I'm not hearing anyone tell me to wear a mask. I'm just kind of existing, right? And then Tim is dealing with a situation where he's watching the death clock.
I'm watching the death clock. People who don't have their mask on, you basically slut shame them. You're like looking at them, you're like, you don't have your mask on. I was a little mini Karen. I'm not proud of it.
And you've evolved a lot on your political positions, as have I, and that's the interesting thing about us doing our show. And we really appreciate you coming on The Gray Area, is we're trying to leave that like left-right dichotomy aside and just talk about making things better for Americans and what that means is being informed. Right.
Yeah.
And you're very informed. I don't think anyone could say that you're not a sharp guy.
Now, where did you get this from? Like you
Yes.
talk about your mom, you talk about your dad, and where does this mindset come for you of like everything that you've built up to this point and why you're running? Like there's a whole psychology behind it. Help people understand this.
Yeah.
So the three most important people in my life have been my mother, my father, and my grandmother on my father's side. And so I think the analytical, informed side comes from my dad. I talk to him 3-4 hours every single day about just everything, politics. He's been traveling on the campaign trail with me. And so we'll read an article together, we'll listen to podcasts together, and then I just literally talk the entire time about these issues and try to get a better handle of them. My mom is the very much, she's where the energy I think comes from, where she just kind of says and does and leads and never asks for permission or forgiveness or apology. That's just who she is. And then I think my grandmother, she was an English teacher for 20 years at a public school not too far from where I grew up. And I think she was very much an orator. She was, when I was in high school debate, I would literally sit down with her for hours and practice poetry, reciting things like If by Rudyard Kipling, to practice and intonate every single word, to not drop off certain sentences. And so I spent a lot of time with her, and, she sadly passed about 1.5 years ago. But for me, those are the three people that I think if you look at me today, for better, worse, good, bad, or ugly, and you say, who created James Fishback, right? Who created this person? It is an amalgamation of my mother, my father, and my paternal grandmother.
Beautiful. I think your background is very impressive, and you talk about all those factors culminating in you and where you are today in your life and really your skill base. You talk about like being an orator and practicing oration and stuff like that. That stuff I need to do a lot more of. That stuff I used to do as a child. I have a real love of it. And I can just tell, man, like you really know how to do the speech. And it's very impressive. It gives me something to where like, I want to get on your level, honestly, because you're able to eloquently explain all these thoughts and ideas at such a deep level, and the level of recall that you have. I mean, that's what people want, right? When people talk to a politician or someone running for office, they ask them, how are you going to make my life better? And they get a canned response of like, well, I'm going to do this and I'm aligned with the party XYZ. You're like, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. This is why we're going to do it. And we're going to do it now. Yep. That's what I like.
Right? That's exactly what I like too.
Right.
And you know what? You're considered a millennial. So you are part of the exact same demographic that is experiencing all of the pain.
Yes.
That like our grandparents and even our parents experienced a completely different life than we did.
Yeah.
And so now we're in a whole new playing field where like, I don't even know what's going to happen next. And social media has like made things compound worse and make everything feel chaotic. But do you see a light at the end of the tunnel? Do you feel like there's some hope, some society? Because it's very easy to be black-pilled these days.
Yeah, give us a white pill. Give us a white pill about Florida.
The hope is actually that Gen Z has woken up to what's actually happening in this country, which is that we're being replaced and we're being sold off. I think there's part of the Gen Z movement that is frustrated by the status quo and then wants to turn to their parents or grandparents and say, you guys had it so easy and you left us this mess. I don't know. My parents or grandparents weren't exactly an elected government. Most weren't. So I don't want to put blame on anyone.
Good point.
I do think that there's truth to, my parents bought their first home where I grew up. My sister grew up in a town called Davie, which is outside of Fort Lauderdale. And they bought it in 1996 for $104,000. They bid against 2 other families. That's it. 2 other families. They got the home. They won it by $1,500 or so. That same home went from $104,000 to $500,000. And if you were to go bid on it today, you'd be bidding against 15 different, not people, 15 different entities, an LLC here, a private equity firm here, some guy who wants to turn it into an Airbnb, some Canadian, foreigner, national, Chinese, communist. It doesn't matter. And so I think the real debate actually in the Republican Party is not between America First or MAGA. I mean, I think those terms generally represent the debate well. The debate is actually between economic corporatism and economic nationalism, between whether the goal is a free market or a free people. If the goal, Tim, was a free market, there'd be a slave auction happening right now outside. If that were
Right.
actually the goal of like, hey, there's a buyer, there's a seller, there's an equilibrium price, there's market, there's demand, there's supply. The goal
We
is
need
not
regulation.
right?
Ultimately.
You need some semblance of regulation to do one thing. Regulation is good for one thing, and that is to protect citizens. That's it.
Mm.
The second regulation starts to pick winners and losers. So, for example, in Louisiana, just a couple years ago, there was literally a law in the books that said you could not sell flowers unless you had an occupational license, unless you passed a test to be a florist. Think about it. You could not arrange daisies and tulips and put them in a vase and earn a living unless you had the blessing from the state government. And of course,
Oh yeah, you got to get that license.
right?
Yeah.
Who pushed that? The big flower lobby, all these big flower shops that wanted to stay in business. They said, you know what? You want to compete with us? You need to actually go get your own license. Now, fortunately, Louisiana found religion and got rid of that. But there's a problem today. I met with a barber just a week ago in Orlando, and the idea that to be a barber now in Florida, you've got to do 1,200 hours of education. When I met kids, I got my hair cut in college by
Yeah.
a kid in the dorm room, and he was great, and it was $10. And so much of our economy, so much of the price gouging that's happening is because of a lack of competition. And the lack of competition isn't qualified barbers or florists or cattle ranchers. It's that we have an economy that favors big companies and creates these regulatory burdens that prevents smaller
I
people
love,
from
I love
starting.
hearing about this. I love it. This is what we talk about on the show all the time, man. And that's been my biggest critique of Trump is really when I think of a great American president, I think of Teddy Roosevelt. I think about the guy that broke up the big monopolies and did the antitrust stuff.
Yep.
Is that
Right.
something you as governor you're really going to focus on? Because that really makes me want to support you even more. Because
It
that's
does.
what I see as the biggest issue.
I think President Roosevelt was a visionary president. And I think the fact that he recognized that this country is not an economic zone, it's not a free trade area, it's actually a nation. And to have a nation with liberty, that means liberty for your people, not liberty for companies to do whatever they want. And so I'm a big antitrust guy. I'm actually kind of a fan of Lena Khan and what she accomplished. And
Based.
that JD is as well.
Me too. Yeah.
It just
I
is what it
agree.
is. And so people ask like, okay, cool. You're going to do all these things, but how are you going to do them? There's a bunch of establishment hacks, Republicans and Democrats. I actually think that there's a lot of old laws in the books. I'll give you one example. In 1891, Florida banned usury. It's never been enforced. It's a law that's on the books. And so one
Really?
thing that I'm spending a lot of time doing, Tim, is looking at all the old laws in Florida, all the old state statutes that have been on the books for 80, 100, 150 years, and saying, that's already there. I think there's this idea that we look at society and say there's a problem, and then the oh my gosh, there's a real imminent urgent problem. And it's real. And then say, well, how are we going to pass a new law? How are we going to get the Republicans and Democrats together? I don't want to get the Republicans and Democrats together. I want to fix the problem. And so before we go and try to pass a new law, why don't we see if there's an existing law on the book and then just enforce that law right away? One example is very clear. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and a lot of the idiot Republicans in Congress said that the border can't be shut down because we need a bipartisan border bill that caps asylees at 5,000 a day, and we can't do anything unless the border bipartisan bill is passed. Cap. No, you needed a new president, and President Trump shut that border down in 30 minutes. And for the last 6 months, there hasn't been a single illegal alien that has breached that southern border. You don't need new laws, you need new leaders. And so when you're electing someone, whether it's at the national level or even more so at the state level, because the 10th Amendment really does give the power to the states, and I'm a big believer in states' rights, is you actually have a system that says, look, I'm actually not going to like so much of what I talk about is not new legislation. It is how can we use executive authority? How can we use laws on the books? And then how can we bully? Yes, bully. How can we bully the companies and the institutions that have bullied us and have gaslit us and have deceived us for too long. That's the kind of governor that I am going to be. I'm not someone who's going to sit here and say, let's negotiate on this. No, no, no. We're not negotiating on anything. We're going to do what's right. And if you don't like it, we'll see you in court. And guess what? One of President Trump's greatest blessings is that he has given us a thoroughly conservative Supreme Court. So you want to challenge us on any of this, you stupid Democrats, you environmental groups, even you big business Republicans, we will see you at the United States Supreme Court. And I don't know how we're going to win, but we're going to win. Whether it's 5-4 or 6-3, it will depend on whether she is there that day and how she's feeling. We actually have to put these things together and not be afraid to be challenged in the court system.
Excellent. Honestly, I couldn't be said any better. Now, in closing, what is something we've got a lot of people in here watching?
Yes, this is our biggest live audience ever, man. Thank you.
Thank you for everybody who's tuning in. We've got about 16,000 people watching you right now. What is one message that you could leave for the audience here that has been, taking their time out of their day to watch?
What do you want them to know?
What do you want them to know?
There's a fork in the road happening in the country and in the party. And I'm not concerned who is going to be the nominee in 2020. It's so far away. Who cares? This is not about the who. It's about the what. What vision for Florida do we want? And then what vision do we want for the country after President Trump's term is up? And if that vision is punishing criticism of a foreign government, if that vision is turning our country into an economic zone where private equity can buy up homes and deny us home ownership, if that vision is our people aren't smart, they're lazy and stupid, a la Vivek Ramaswamy, we need to bring in another boatload of Indians. If that vision is, well, we need to negotiate with the Chinese communists, and as a result of the negotiation, we have to concede that we're going to let in 600,000 foreign students to replace our kids at our colleges, that is one vision that's on offer. And that essentially is diet globalism. You can call it Republican, you can call it whatever you want to call it. But the political zeitgeist today is that of a hall of mirrors. Remember those hall of mirrors and those
good word too. Those zeitgeist. It's true. Yeah, the spirit.
Those carnivals, right? It was the hall of mirrors is what you see is not exactly what you get. The debate that we need to be having is not with the Democrats. The Democrats have totally lost, okay? We do not need to be negotiating with them. We don't need to be entertaining them. They could kill us all if they had the opportunity. The way that they cheered on Charlie's assassination, they should never be near the levers of power again. But while I'm on the subject of a party never being near the levers of power again, I want to be very clear. If a Republican stands up and wants to throw you in prison for criticizing Israel, they should never be in power again. If a Republican stands up and gaslights you that you're lazy, that you're stupid, and that's why they need to import Indians to replace you, they should never be in power again. If a Republican stands up and says, you know what, you don't deserve a home because in a free market capitalist system, anyone can buy a home. A Chinese national, Airbnb, a private equity firm, they never need to be in power again. And so I'm running for Florida governor because I think I'm a real Republican, one that's actually going to stand up for American citizens. We often think about liberty. And I guess my question is, for those of us who say that we're fighting for liberty, for those who identify as liberty-minded conservatives who are running for office, ask them, liberty for whom? Who is the liberty for exactly? Is it for foreign nationals? Is it for corporations? Is it for private equity? Is it for Larry Fink? Is it for Steve Schwartzman? Or is it for American citizens? Because if the liberty is for everyone, every entity in this economic zone that's called America, if everyone gets to have the same liberty, then no one has it, least of all American citizens. And so that, I think, is the crossroads, the fork in the road that we are at today. And I got to tell you, if we're having a debate with some people and they want to debate about what an American is or what an American is not, I'll tell you this. Very simply, an American is someone who loves our country. But you cannot love our country if you hold dual loyalty to another country. You cannot love our country if you hold contempt for your fellow Americans. If you call us lazy and stupid, you cannot love our country. If you don't respect the fact that we are a Christian nation, that our founding fathers were Christian and built us on Christian ideals, then you cannot love our country. To love America is to be an American. And I'll tell you the truth. When you have people like Vivek Ramaswamy saying that white men are lazy and stupid and we're too obsessed with football, that is not someone who represents an unapologetic love for American. And I'll tell you right now, there's a lot of people in our country who are citizens, who have been here, who may be white. They're not American either if they're going to run around and tell us that we don't have a right to fight back at what is clearly happening to our country.
And you made an excellent point at the beginning where you talked about, a post-Trump situation, right? And that's what we face. We face 12 years of this guy, dominating the news cycle, being the most talked about topic, even when Biden was president, right? It was the Trump indictments. It was the lawfare. It was all of it. That's what everyone was invested in. Going forward in 2028 and beyond, I know he says, I'm going to run again. I'm going to do it. But realistically, we're going to see a JD, we're going to see a Rubio run against like a AOC or a Gavin Newsom. What do you think the future of the Republican Party is? And do you think that people like you that are real populist, you're a Republican, but you're independent minded. You're not necessarily slavishly loyal to any sort of party politic or system. You genuinely want things to get better versus the side represented by someone like Byron Donalds, who is bought off by the corporate interest, who is controlled. Yep. Where do you see things going forward in the next, half decade to a decade? What is the future of your party?
The Republican Party is either going to go in the direction of America First, working class populism, economic nationalism in the next 10 years, or it will cease to exist, and it should cease to exist. The Republican Party, the Country Club Republican Party, the open border Koch brother Republican Party, and the Democrats want open borders so they can bring in voters. The Republicans, for the most part, have wanted open borders for the last 25 years because it could bring in cheap foreign labor to pad their profit margins. Let's get very honest about that. And that Bernie Sanders spoke about this in 2015. I know so many voters who their first choice was Trump, their second choice was Bernie, because that is where they were going into 2016. And of course, they rigged the Democrat primary against him. I think that the party needs to get real about what it represents. You can't just call yourself America First and then do the bidding of a foreign country. You can't call yourself America First and then sell your own people out to legal immigrants. You can't call yourself America First and let Blackstone take $300 billion from the Chinese Communist government and overseas capital and then buy up single family homes and then force us to rent as opposed to own. And so when I hear America First, I think we should be clear that America First means American citizens first. I'll give you just one example. If you said, hey, it's America First to want cheap groceries, and cheap groceries are attainable with cheap foreign slave labor from Central America. And so importing another 2 million El Salvadorans or Guatemalans is actually America First because they'll pick our food and milk our cows at a cheaper hourly rate so we can get cheaper groceries. If that is your version of America First, that is a perversion of what America First means. I think the debate about trade is actually an interesting one, about free trade, fair trade, tariffs. The question is, well, what do you value? If you want cheap air fryers and Amazon Basics t-shirts, guess what? You should not want tariffs. You should just want things to be the way they were, right? If you just want cheap stuff and you want to feed into this consumerist materialist philosophy, then yeah, there should be no tariffs. There should be no anything. Just build all the stuff in China, make it all in China, because that's what it is. But if you believe that every high school grad should be able to have a great paying job right out of high school, including a manufacturing job, then guess what? We maybe should pay a little bit more. And this idea that we pay a little bit more and then we just get screwed. No, we might pay 10% more for something that is 50% higher quality. New Balance makes 25% of its shoes in America. Nike makes 2% of their shoes in America. We all know that New Balance is higher quality than Nike. So if a New Balance shoe costs $10 more, but it lasts you 6 months longer, is it really more expensive? This is the problem when we get away from, when we focus so much on this one-dimensional view of economics that the mainstream media pushes. Oh, the Trump tariffs raised prices on tennis shoes by 10%. Yeah, if the Chinese tennis shoes are 10% more expensive, and as a result, you don't buy them and you buy local, No Balance made, American made shoes, and those shoes now last 6 to 8 months longer. So you don't have to go and rebuy another pair of shoes in 6 months. Guess what? That's a good deal for Americans. My great grandfather, never met him, but my grandmother's father, he owned a restaurant supply store in Binghamton, New York. And the very cup, the steel cup that he sold in the 1930s, my family still uses to this day. Imagine an economy that sold goods that were so high quality that they didn't break because the Dollar Tree sold you another round of Chinese crap. Imagine that my great grandfather made something, sold something that my son, his great great grandson, could have hot chocolate in on the night before Christmas.
Wow.
That's the economy I want to get back to. And I guess what? I'm going to call out the consumerism and the materialism, because that is not the American way, that we have to obsess. We need a new pair of jeans. We need this, that. We need $15. No, we need an economy that creates good stuff at a great, honest price and employs honest workers across our country. We're often told men, Ben Shapiro crashed out at AmFest and he said, white men are just lazy and they need to get off the couch and get back to work. No, not at all. That's a slanderous lie. What needs to happen is we need to stop with this Chamber of Commerce big business lie that Americans don't want to do this work. Why don't you finish the sentence? Americans don't want to do this work at the non-market slave wages that you are offering.
Right.
I know my
Right.
state.
It's all-
I know my
yes.
people. They will do an honest day's work for an honest wage. We got rid of slavery a long freaking time ago in this country. And don't sit and tell men that they're lazy and they're stupid because they don't want to pick weed or strawberries or pack boxes for $8, $9 an hour. You offer them an honest market-based wage where they can take that money, they can live, be self-sufficient, look themselves in the mirror, have a sense of dignity. Guess what? You're going to have an economy that works for everybody. And those young men, they're going to get married, they're going to have kids, they're going to own not just a home, but they're going to own a piece of equity in the future of this country. And that's going to solve a lot of societal, social ills. I think this addiction with pornography, this obsession with marijuana, all of this crap, that is downstream of some of the economic frustration that young men are facing. And I think the sooner we can tackle that, the sooner we can actually turn the country around in a cultural sense. I think the Republicans have been playing the culture war on defense. They've told us all the things we hate: drag queens, gay this, gay that, pride parades. Yeah, none of us like that. But why don't we play the culture war on offense for once? Why don't we offer an alternative, affirmative view of what winning the culture war looks like? To how you win the culture war. You tell young men that they can get married and they can raise their family of 4 on a single income. You want to make the liberals go deranged? They're not going to see what hit them. You thought they went crazy over the Pride Parade and throwing the drag queens out of the library? Imagine what happens when we all get Christ-pilled and red-pilled and we all become traditionalists once again. When young men in this country can have a great paying job, don't have to climb over Blackstone or BlackRock to buy their first home, don't have to compete with an H-1B for that job, and can actually raise a family. That's how you actually win the culture war. You don't win the culture war by demonizing drag queens. And trust me, the drag queens deserve it, but that's not how we actually turn this country around.
Wow. Wow. Well, no one can say that you're not a gentleman. No one can say you're not a scholar. No one can say you're not a Renaissance man, because you are. We really got to level up, Tim, because like you're on the ball with your message, and I think that's what people really want to see, and that's what people really want to interact with and talk to, man. And
I really hope you come back on.
Yeah,
man.
please
feeling
do.
very inspired after even just that
Very
little
impressive.
last segment you just gave there.
Very impressive, and I hope you get there. We hope you get there. We hope you win this one, and I think we support him, right? I think we give our endorsement means everything. It's even bigger than APAC's. So you got the real grassroots support here now. So thank you so much, James, and like you've been so generous with your time. if there's anything else you want to say, feel free to say it. Not trying to end anything, but like we've been here for a while, and you've just gone Dune. You just laid it out like that, man.
Well, my
Really
only
impressive.
regret is that I didn't get more sound effects after dropping those bangers.
Yeah,
I knew you guys had the
we got
soundboard.
some. We got an apology.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm out of control. I apologize for that.
There you go. There you
I know
go. We
that
got
man's
that one.
voice.
We got this one.
Scanning. Control. Manipulate scientific data.
We got that.
Over, blast control.
Yeah, we got quite a number.
We got
on
quite
here.
a few. Some of which you're running for office. We don't
Yeah,
necessarily
the bomb seemed like
It's
very
safe option.
appropriate. Yeah.
Safe option. But thank you for your time, man. Really appreciate
Anything else in closing?
In closing, to people who want to donate, honestly,
Oh yeah.
100%.
I would be honored, but in this economy, I'm just not going to ask people to donate. What I am going to ask them to do is if they feel aligned with our vision and our campaign, go to fishback2026.com, hit that volunteer button, fill that out. Doesn't matter if you're in Florida, doesn't matter where you are. If you can give us an hour a week so we can flood the zone. We don't want to win this thing. We want to win it by 10, because what happens in 2026 will determine what happens in 2028. If we can throw out the America Last slave that is DEI Donalds, if we can actually put forth an America First candidate in the third largest state in this country, we can actually turn the entire conversation around and force the Republican Party to admit that America First is inevitable.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Well, thank you for your time, James. Really appreciate you coming on with us tonight. And
Please come back.
yeah,
man.
please come
back.
Please come back on. Man. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks, Rex. Thanks, Tim.
Take care.
Good night, man. Thank you. Wow. Okay. Well, we got to level up. We got to get a lot better at talking.
W's in the chat.
Doing the
W's
show.
in the
Look,
chat.
Look, that is like, when we talk about this, and I've talked to Tim about this a lot, just like both of us are trying to work on becoming better speakers and doing a better show for y'all on different levels. And I tell you, like, look, there's a level beyond. There's a level to where you don't even have to think about it, where you just know what you believe and you have all the information on it. And Dune. That is... I was very impressed.
And I could tell he meant what he said, and there was a conviction, and he wasn't reading off of like some teleprompter. You know when guys are like very polished,
Yes.
and they're trying to say like DeSantis.
That's not prepared. He's ripping, man, and he's on target. And whether you agree with him or disagree with him, okay, Tim's taking a little bathroom break. Whether you agree with him or disagree with him, like, what his message is. And that's true for very few political figures. And that's what I want to see more of. And that's what we were kind of talking about at the end of the interview, where I asked him about the post-Trump world. And he even brings it up kind of in that second to last statement that he made. And that's what interests me, man, is I really want to see the growth of the grassroots of the Republican Party, of the independents, of other parties, Libertarian Party. I want to see that from people. I want to see people that are actually qualified. That dude's qualified. That guy's qualified to talk. That guy's qualified to lead. That guy's qualified to inspire. And you can say that about very few of these people. Most of these people that run are literally, they're just cutouts. Like we're talking about Byron Donalds, right? $40 million. $40 million. One political campaign. That's not, a long period of time. That's a sprint. That's like half a year or a little bit longer. He's going to spend all that money promoting himself along the lines of towing the official APAC, whatever you want to call it, neocon narrative. Whereas you have a guy like this, who I guarantee if they do a debate or if he gets on the same stage with them, I mean, Byron Donalds, I don't care if he's Neil deGrasse Tyson, he doesn't stand a chance. That guy's super smart, man.
Right.
Super smart and just even better at expressing his ideas. What are people saying?
We got a lot of messages here. Let's read the chat, give you guys some love in here.
From C, the messaging is there. I tend to think he is, whether fully or not. I don't think the GP is ready for fully anyway. Don't know what that means. Everyone on his campaign team right now is young dudes. That's great. And I think we need to see more of that. Let's go. Thank you, Nimrod Pod. Without you, this would not be possible. And he's recommending Casey Puch. I'm not sure how you say that last name. On next. And I guess that's the guy running against Vivek. Same, was a great meeting. That guy is impressive. Yes, Akers, he's very impressive. And I was very, I didn't know what to expect. I'd seen some clips of him before, but on that level, like We just talked to him for like 45 minutes for however long it was, and we understand his entire political campaign, his messaging, everything he's running on, what he's running against.
There was no like fluff for me
No.
to like, you know, am I sure what he's running for?
Right.
Is he saying this? Is he saying that? No, I mean, like what he stands behind is what he stands behind. Now, you may not agree with everything he says on there, and that's perfectly fine. But
it's the ability to express it and let people know what you're about, because oftentimes people, like politicians, they play this idiot game almost. They're like, I don't know, I'm just trying to make a statement. He's like, no, this is it. This is what I think.
And I tried to throw a couple of tough questions in there just to see, you know, if we were going to get that politician talk. And I didn't feel any of that. He dressed the thing head on. He explained what he meant, and he meant what he said. And that's all that's all the equation you got to look at.
Right. Like me personally, I'm not pro Venezuelan invasion, but he articulated his position well. And as I said on our live last night, yes, you can make the argument. I don't agree with it, but it's rational. It's logical. It's there. And honestly, if we had a debate, he'd probably stomp me because I wouldn't be able to talk.
There were some things that I was like, you know what? This isn't going to turn into debate because he's super well spoken.
We wanted him to be able to get his message out there, because like that's what an interview is about. And people will point at someone like Rogan and go, "Oh, Rogan is so great." And why is Rogan so good at interviewing? Is because he lets the person talk.
Yes.
So we
100%.
want you to get the full 360 view of who the person is. Nomadic Midlife says, totally awesome interview. 3-letter agency. I met James yesterday. He's a fantastic young man.
That's awesome.
Thomas Blackfire. That was a great conversation. Good job, guys. You handled it well. Thank you very much. Appreciate y'all having him on. Thank you, Big Country. W Fishback. You should take viewer questions. We do that, and we're reading comments now. Registered. You got to be registered to vote in Florida if you want to vote for Fishback. Got to find some way to debate with Byron. Yeah, I mean, if he did that, I mean, I think it would be over.
I think Byron was scared, though, wasn't he? Saying,
I think he was.
Yeah,
and that's.
I think there was a point at which he said, "Hey, I'm ready to go on this show, and you can debate me openly." And I think Byron turned it down. I mean, look, it's when you got.
I would turn it.
It's all about the talking points.
I would turn it down because I'd be scared. I'll be honest.
100%. And guys, don't go anywhere, because this is just the beginning of it. We're just getting started.
Political intrigue. We got political corruption game show coming up.
100%. And the winner of that game show is actually going to win some of our free stuff.
That's right. And we got our biggest live audience ever here. If you want to support the show, and keep in mind, for the winner of this competition coming up right here live, the corruption game show, you're going to get this free. We got Elemental Drive, which is this core mineral formula I came up with. I've worked on dozens of supplement formulas over the past decade where I've been involved in the nutritional supplement world. This is basically the ultimate male testosterone enhancer. You don't have to worry about a bunch of crazy herbs. You don't have to worry about a bunch of crazy drugs. These are just the core minerals that you need at the most efficacious doses possible, balanced to raise free testosterone, bone density, and just overall testosterone levels, as well as things that support enzymatic processes within the body. This is what you want, guys. And if you want to support the show, you can go buy this right now, but stay tuned, because you can win it for free, as well as ashwagandha if you win our game show. So we're really looking forward to that, guys. And go to goprimalcore.com if you're interested in the products.
Yep.
Thank you very much. Let's get into the game show, Tim.
Yeah.
What are we going to do?
Before, I want to test the audio, because I know people were saying earlier in the chat before he got on that there was muting from the audio, and the audio is really important. So let's go ahead and run a test run.
Why don't you do that? I'm going to use the bathroom.
Okay.
Wait, why don't
All right. Rex is going to be right back before we get into this game show. I want to see if you guys can hear this audio, because I would be severely upset if you guys can't hear anything. Give me 1 second, okay? All right, I don't know who this is, but can you guys hear this? Please comment in the chat. He's talking Spanish, but please let me know. Okay, you guys can hear it. Oh, thank goodness. All right, that had me worried in the first half, because I wasn't sure whether or not we were going to have the correct audio. No, Nimrod, stop it. No, well, I paused it. Hold on. I paused it. Still talking Spanish. Is the audio good? Are you kidding me? What is going on? How? So everybody heard it for a second, and then it was gone. So, hold on. You hear nothing. All right, let me try this. I can't believe, because this is really important, guys. We got to make sure that everybody can hear the audio. All right, let me go and adjust some settings real quick. Okay, let's try this. See if you guys can hear it. We really don't have audio. I'm trying.
We appreciate y'all being here with us tonight.
Can you guys hear this? That is insane.
That is crazy. Do we need the audio? Do you have video clips?
Yeah, I have
Part of
video
the
clips.
show?
We have to have audio.
This is tough.
We have to have audio.
How did this happen?
I don't know.
We didn't change anything. And you know, ultimately,
Even if I go back to this,
we did the plug earlier, and this is why it's important.
Can
for
you
us.
guys hear this? This will be sad if you guys can't hear it. We're using
We're on
StreamYard.
StreamYard. We've never had this problem before, ever. You killed it. Referring to the interview. Yes.
All right, this is
We're
crazy.
cooked. We're cooked. It's so over.
Not really. We'll be okay. All right, let me just go back to the original here. Even if this one doesn't work,
Is
then
it a problem with the cable?
What? On there?
I don't know, man.
No.
You know, we've had issues with it before. Yeah, the stream was too good. It had to be
Because here's the
nuked.
thing.
Oh
Senator
my
Burr,
goodness.
he's not the exception. To better understand
I
how
can hear it.
widespread this issue
I know
is,
we
and if
can,
one
but-
party is doing it more than the other.
All right, we're
it's
trying this one. Can
Wow.
we hear this?
Quantitative, a company that uses alternative public data sources
We can hear?
to help retail investors make better decisions.
Oh,
because
Are we getting
apparently-
trolled?
Oh!
Okay. All right. Back in business.
All right.
White pill alert, Jim alarm.
We
scheduled
appreciate
Jim.
you
Yeah, we
guys.
appreciate y'all sticking with us. We really appreciate it. And that's why we did the plug for Primal Core, because look, if we get a switcher, it's over. The show goes to the
All right, you guys don't understand. My heart was like at the bottom of my chest, and I was like, "Look,
very
if
depressed.
everybody can't hear this, but look, we're about to get into the game show. Here's how it works. Okay, we're gonna be covering the most corrupt politicians. This is an episode that everybody has been asking for, but I wanted to save it specifically for tonight
Right.
because I wanted enough people to see what's going on in our government. Fishback already pointed to a lot of the stuff that's going on in the politicians, in the environment that's going on there.
The
And
swamp.
now we're about to expose everybody's dirty laundry in game fashion. Okay, look, if you guys go to X right now on Rex Jones's account,
Mhm.
you will see the most recent repost that he did where he quoted on that. And maybe we
You
can
want me to go to it?
yeah, maybe we can pull up just so people know so that they can participate. We'll pull this up for you guys right now.
Mhm.
Go to your profile and we'll go ahead and share this real quick. If you guys look here, okay, he has just made this post here talking about this is where our game show. If you want to participate and
Comment
answer
there.
questions, you need to comment in here, okay, not on the live, in this section.
In that retweet.
Because it's very easy for us to read everything here and for us to actually keep engaged. So that being said, we are going to have a list of questions and you're going to find out who is the most corrupt politician, and it's going to be easy. I'm going to break down the steps again for you guys when we're on the game show, but I'm just letting you guys know if that is, if you are on X, that is where you go. If you're on YouTube, if you are on Rumble, you guys can go ahead and comment in the same section that you guys are in. Basically, the person who has the most answers, and I know there's a lot of people that are going to get it right, I'm going to randomly select from the set of people, and that person is going to win some free Primal Core, Primal Core. Oh, tongue twister.
And depending on how good it is, depending on how many great answers that we get, and if people point out things we haven't seen before, who knows, might send a few extra units out. It's free supplements, it's high quality supplements. All you got to do is play along. We're going to have a fun game here. We're going to go over the political corruption, and it's just like Fishback said.
It is.
It's just like he said, but go
All right,
ahead.
let's go ahead and cut to the scene. We'll be right back. I got to get myself ready for this
Little
game
prepared.
show. All right, guys? Be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to the gray area.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
Game show time.
We are about to play a game called Guess That Corrupt Politician. I am your game host, Tim Tompkins, and my co-host, Rex Jones, news with a Z.
Right.
All right, look, we're about to air everybody's dirty laundry out today. If you guys have not been part of this yet, I wear these ridiculous outfits every single Sunday when I do these deep dives. You can go ahead and go full real quick so people can just take a look at our.
Yeah, you got the top hat. You got the.
I got my
hair
tie.
piece. That's real hair right there.
It is
the cane. Got the full fit.
100%. So we're going to go to Candyland. All right. Anyways, going to our show.
Mhm.
All right. Let's get started here. So the name of the game is Guess That Corrupt Politician. Let's go ahead and go to the next set for the rules. Okay. Here are the game rules. Okay. This game consists of 3 questions. Like I had said, all X players, people who are watching on X, must respond to Rex's most recent X post in
Gotta
the
go to
comment
the retweet
section.
to give your answer.
If you want to be able to win a chance to win this game, you need to respond there. All people on Rumble, YouTube, they can answer on their platforms. We will be able to see them there.
We're going to do more stuff like this. And keep in mind, it says one lucky winner. It'll probably be multiple.
It'll probably be multiple.
Probably
I said
multiple.
one. We got plenty of stuff to share around. We'll probably select like 3 people to get some free merch. So one kind of seems pretty dull with the amount of people that are
Phenomenal.
watching.
It's going to be a lot of y'all. Thank you for still tuning in. We really
So-
appreciate it. Let's go to the next slide.
Go to the next slide. All right. Are we ready, ladies and
Take
gentlemen?
a spin on the lucky wheel.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You feeling it, brother?
I'm feeling it. I'm feeling good.
All right, guys.
Feeling great.
Can we make sure we hear this audio because I love this.
They can hear it.
All right. First question. All right. First question. This happened in 2008, right before the financial crisis. Banks were failing, stock market was unstable, and this member of Congress was invited to a private meeting with top officials from the Treasury Department and the Federal Reserve. Okay? Phones were taken away. They were warned about the financial system and how it could collapse. And then the next day, this lawmaker made a trade that made money when the market fell. Days later, market crashes, and they made a lot of money. Now, listen, here are the options. Who is the corrupt politician? A, Nancy Pelosi. B, Spencer
Baucus.
C, Paul Ryan. You guys have 30 seconds to be able to answer this, okay? Let me figure out what's going on with the soundboard.
We should have intermission music, shouldn't we?
No, we do. The soundboard is just not wanting to participate right now. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
We appreciate y'all. This is a growing show.
It is.
As we evolve, you know, like that game Spore. We're evolving.
Do-do-do-do-do-do. And we're gonna do quiz countdown.
Dead air. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock.
Should work now.
I can sing a song.
There we go. Remember, you got to respond in the right location. Let me pull up X real quick.
And we know
who's
when you
responding,
answer.
okay?
We know when you answer, too. We're not going to, correct answer at 10 p.m. So when we're watching the live stream.
We watched the live stream.
We know. We know. So go ahead and start now.
All right. Let's go ahead and reveal the answer.
All right. What's
The correct answer for those who have responded correctly? Let's go ahead and click through. Spencer,
who's this guy?
You are our lucky winner. Okay. And there's some people that might still be confused. Rex, can you do us a favor?
Sure.
Let's go ahead and show people real quick where on the profile so that I'm hearing some people are confused still.
Oh, all right. All right. We'll do it again. It's all right. We'll do it again. You have to minimize this and go into Chrome, but we can do it. Look, guys, it's very simple. If you want to do this, just go to my most recent X post. It's not the pinned post. It's not exactly rocket science. And keep in mind, you win a free product. So it's very simple. You go to this X post. This X post was done at 6:34 p.m. You comment your answers there. You win free supplements. It's really cool. It's the fun thing to do. You want to do it.
Awesome. All right, let's go back to the show.
And that's also in Chrome. I forgot.
Yeah.
Interesting.
First tab.
Okay.
Oh,
right.
wait.
Yeah.
Present.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
Very
So
fill us in on this guy because he's the one.
Oh, yes, we are. Yes, we are. We are going to explain who this guy is. You can go ahead and click the next tab here.
Okay.
Spencer, you are on trial, my friend. All right. So he is a Republican member of Congress that during 2008, 2008 financial crisis, the day before his trade, he attended a private meeting with the government officials. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They warned specifically to him, hey, look, the system's in serious danger. And then the next day, he shorted stocks. And look, the way you short is you bet that things are going to fall. That's basically what a short is.
You're betting against the market.
You're betting against the market, right? So he took his money, bet against the prices to fall, also took money out of the market for positions that he had in place that he knew he would have lost money. And here's the thing, guys, with this, during 2008, before the market crashed, stocks were at an all-time high. So for somebody that suspiciously a day or two to short, change all their positions made no sense in the context of how the money was still continuing.
They always get it right, man. They always figure out the secret solution to make more money.
Right. So now, days later, market collapses. Millions of Americans lose their jobs. They lose their homes, their savings. And guess who made money? Little Spency over there. He made tons of money. All right. We're keeping that guy high level because it gets worse than here, guys. This is literally surface level. We're going to get even deeper into this. All right. Let's go ahead and go to the next question.
Sounds good.
All right. COVID Mafia. All right. We're going to see if you guys know this COVID politician. Okay. This has happened at the very start of COVID. In January of 2020, this U.S. senator received private briefing about how serious the virus really was. They were told that it could spread fast and hurt the economy. Soon after this briefing, this senator began selling large amounts of stock. And at the time the public was being told, he told them right before he did this, he told the public not to worry about anything. And then guess what? Weeks later, stock market crashed. Who was this politician? A, Richard Burr. B, Mitt Romney. C,
Bernie Sanders.
Bernie Sanders. All right. We're going to put some waiting music. Go ahead and make your answers. Go ahead and comment in the sections, okay? We'll wait. Remember, YouTube and Rumble, you guys can comment
as well. You can just comment directly.
Just comment directly.
Rumble, we'll count that as well.
We're not reading X chats. They need to be in this specific post.
6:34 p.m. my profile. Comment on that post.
Should we give people a little bit more time, or are we good?
We're good. We're good.
All right. Let's go ahead and reveal it.
Who's this guy that we don't know about?
People who answered A. You are correct. People who answered anything else. All right, look. This man.
Those are good. We need to keep those. That's the best stuff on the soundboard.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. So why does this matter? So when Burr got a word salad. Let me restart. So Burr,
when he got a little payout, little donation.
Yes, he did. He got a COVID briefing in January of 2020, and it wasn't just a normal update. It was private, it was detailed, and it was early. Now go ahead and go to this next slide. Let me see what's out here. Okay, we're about to air his dirty laundry out. Guys, by the way, he was investigated by the government, the federal government, and this is well, before you read it, I'm gonna give you guys a little debrief. And this is the proof to explain it. But this comes directly from the government's website on the exact indictment and all the details. It's like 40 or 50 pages worth of stuff here. But after that briefing, Burr sold about $1.7 million in stock. He moved money into safer investments. And at the same time, he privately warned his donors that the virus was really serious. Now, publicly,
we call that insider knowledge.
Exactly. Now, publicly, what was he telling people, Rex?
Everything's fine.
Don't worry about it.
Everything's all right.
Everything is okay. Don't pull your money out the market. Keep going. Keep putting more money in.
Right.
So those messages didn't match. Why are you selling stocks, right? So let's go ahead and read this because we have receipts, guys.
3 minutes later, at approximately 11:58 a.m., blank used his landline at blank to call Senator Burr's office landline at the United States Senate. That call lasted approximately 3 minutes. In an interview that I conducted, blank, Burr directed that the sales go forward, referring to stock. Within 5 minutes of this call, blank entered a sell order in Brooke Burr's IRA account for the sale of 300 shares of Aon PLC stock for a total of approximately $66,582, and another sell order for an additional 95 shares of Aon PLC, an insurance company. Oh, the insurance companies have a problem. I won't get out of it. I won't tell my constituents anything about that, for a total of approximately 21 grand. In addition, blank entered a sell order in Senator Burr's IRA account for the sale of 300 shares of GCI Liberty Incorporated, a telecommunications company, for a total of approximately $21,976. At 3:43 p.m. on that same day, approximately 3 hours and 40 minutes after Senator Burr directed blank the stock sales, that White House held a press briefing attended by blank HHS Secretary Alex M. Blank. I mean, we don't know who he is. It's kind of stupid redaction. And publicly announced that the United States would temporarily ban the admission of travelers who had been in China for up to 14 days prior to their attempted travel to the United States. Look how early on that is. He had the insider knowledge.
Inside.
Wow. That's like January.
See, Rex, we're not rich enough, so we're not part of the cool club. You know,
Cool Kids Club.
Cool Kids Club.
Right.
Yeah. So we're not part of that group, guys.
Yeah.
None of you guys out there were in this meeting.
Afforded that knowledge. He told you things were fine.
Yeah, and I'm sorry for anybody who had a Roth IRA or anything else that was in the stock market and you lost a lot of money during that time period. These politicians did not care. You know what the worst part about this, Rex?
The politicians are smoking on the taxpayer pack.
Oh, 100%.
That's what they're doing.
You know what the worst part about this?
What is it, Tim?
So the DOJ actually investigated this, and guess what happened?
He got let off.
The case was dropped and no charges were filed.
You see, they caught me with the charges, but I knew somebody and it was all right. I mean, it's a comedy. Man, we look at this every day on the show.
There was no proof.
There was no evidence.
No evidence.
We look at it right here. And obviously, people in our government knew a collapse was coming and they profited off of it. And it's not even a benign situation where, they're just profiting off of a situation that's going to happen. No, they're betting against America's future. right? And they're
100%.
harming the Americans that are still invested.
100%. But
So,
guess who made that
fascinating.
$1.7 million? Not you.
Not you. Senator Burr made that money.
Perfect.
Beautiful.
All right.
Next
so
question.
next question.
Russia.
Russia. Okay, guys. We're going to hear the prompt real quick. This one's about timing. Early 2022, tensions were rising between Russia and Ukraine. This member of Congress bought a stock in major defense companies. And defense companies often make more money during war. Days later, Russia invades Ukraine. After the invasion, those defense stocks went up. Which politician did this? Is it A, Marjorie Taylor Greene, B, Hakeem Jeffries, or C, AOC? Give you guys some time. Go ahead, make your comments, make your bets.
Right, and you can make the comments in YouTube, or you can make them on Rumble, or you can make them on Twitter on the post that I made at 6:34 p.m. That's where you put your answer. Be sure to do that. Also, follow Truism Tim on X if you're already on Twitter. Go ahead and do it. He's providing a great show tonight. I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, we got some A's in here. We got some C's. We got some B's. Hey, and don't be lame and look up the answers, okay?
No, not allowed. No.
Yeah.
And like I said, we'll know. Like if someone answers at 11,
As soon as I say something,
we'll know.
we're gonna catch you. Gonna get you. All right. Music is over. People have put in their answers. We will
Let's
check them
check
at
it
the
out.
end. And
I
it
knew
is
this
A.
one. We've talked about this one
Now,
before.
Rex,
Viewer,
this,
you
this
know.
is one of your favorites, I thought.
Right. Well, let he who is without sin cast the first stone in Congress. Everyone's making some money, and she certainly has made a lot of it, even though I really like her politics. She had insider knowledge of the Ukraine conflict.
Now, here's the thing. We can't slander her for everything, but we can slander her for this.
Not
these are-
slander.
Sorry,
Not
not slander. Whoop, allegedly, right?
Just be careful.
Allegedly, right. She did a good job with the Epstein files. Got to give credit where credit's due. But nobody is safe from us airing out the business here.
Right. It's just the money, man. And we'll talk about her net worth too, or if that's
Oh,
a
it's
later
in
question.
here. Oh, it's
ooh.
Rex. You think I came on here without the receipts?
No. You got it all.
No, of course not. All right. So let's talk about MTG here, okay? Obviously, we know she's a congressman from Georgia. She's Republican.
Congressperson, how dare you?
Oh,
Point of personal
congressperson.
privilege, you're male.
You right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So now let's slow this down and walk through what actually happened. Now, she was elected into Congress in 2020, took office in 2021. On February 22nd,
Right.
2022, she made two investments. She bought Lockheed Martin stock, and other major defense contractors.
It just seems like that's a good idea, right? to buy the military.
Okay, well, look.
Stock.
The day before, though, this is February 22nd. Just keep that in mind.
Okay.
This is 2 days before it
Right
broke
before
out.
they come in.
So she bought that. Then she also bought Chevron. Why would she buy Chevron?
Well, they blew up a pipeline.
Well, Chevron has to do with the gas. Exactly. Yeah. It's one of the largest oil companies.
And then what the Europeans had to do, they had to buy our gas instead of the Russian
Dude, it gets worse. It gets worse than this, guys. Can we go to the next slide?
Sure.
She tweeted this the very next day after buying these stocks.
War and rumors of war that's the correct grammar, incredibly profitable and convenient. And just like that, the media now has a lie to use as a reason for our shattered economy and out of control inflation. What a sad existence it must be to shill for globalism and America last politicians. I just want to make a little war money. I mean,
she's gaslighting. War and rumors are incredibly profitable and convenient. What a sad existence to be shilling for the globalism and America's last politicians. The day before this, guys, remember, she just bought Lockheed War. She bought Lockheed Martin and she bought Chevron. She didn't go out there and buy some Apple stock. She bought those specific too. So now we got to go through the receipts, right? Go ahead and go to this next one. All right. So
American politics.
Before we go through that, right? So, war breaks out, oil prices tend to rise during conflicts, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then after the invasion, typically defense and energy stock prices go up. Now, the thing about this is that you had mentioned earlier, well, that's probably a good stock to buy, but the problem with this is like she gets to get scot clean from just that plausible deniability. Like there's no proof that she knew the invasion was coming. And many people believed that Russia would invade. And, this information could have been public and trades are technically legal. So there are no charges. But here's the thing. The timing is very off here. 2 days before and the day before the invasion, you're sitting here making claims.
Right.
Okay. That's not even the worst part. Okay. So let's go back. It could have been a coincidence and she's very smart, but let's just look at her money and how much she makes and what happened to her net worth. So members of Congress, just like her, their base salary is typically around like $174K a year. Okay. You can go ahead and go to the next one. Before Congress, her net worth was about $700,000. By 2023, it was estimated around 11 million. And you can go ahead and read this for everybody.
American politics is big business, and many of the 1% hold seats in Congress, the president's cabinet, or the president's administration. Green is no exception. Her base yearly salary as member of Congress is $174,000. Green's net worth was reportedly $700,000 before she joined Congress. In 2023, her wealth increased to about $11 million. I wish that would happen to me. Shit.
Wow.
Doubled to an estimated $22 million at the beginning of 2025 and increased to another $3 million by the fall of 2025.
And her total estimated net worth now is around 25 million, guys. So she went from 700,000 to 25 million in about 4 years, investor. Right? Okay.
Shut up.
In terms of investing, by the way, it's not 30%. That's not 300%. That is 3,400% increase in wealth in 4 years. 3,400.
Yeah. 3.4.
Guys,
yeah.
Just to put this in context, with her salary of $174K a year, even if you saved every single dollar and there were no taxes and there was no spending at all, it would take you 144 years to make $25 million alone from the salary that she's been given.
Wow.
I can't. This is insane.
Wow.
So, look.
Next slide.
Guys. Yeah, well, I mean, the game show has come to a conclusion for this. We still got more lined up. You can go ahead and do the next one. We thank you guys for playing, okay? Look.
Yes, thank you very much.
Don't forget to claim your prizes. Oh, and your taxes. We hope that you had fun getting robbed.
Yes, very nice. While they profit, we get broke. While they eat steak and lobster, we run out of money and have to eat Bill Gates' poison lab meat. And that's good, and that's pro-America, and that's what we support here on the Gray Area. That's what the Gray Area is all about. Thank you for participating in the game show. Remember, put your answers to the questions in the YouTube, Rumble, and then X post. Thank you very much. Beautiful.
Now, we're not done here, guys.
No, we're not done.
We're just getting started.
Well,
I just want to
get in there like Rocky.
Yeah.
We're doing good.
The thing is with this, it had to be said. All right. We have to do this because a lot of the times in society, a lot of these things don't get shed to light. And how many shows do you see talking about this stuff right now?
Right. Well, there are a few, but they're also combined with like an ideological influence or impulse. We're just here as two Americans giving our coverage on the situation, which frankly has us upset. And we know it has you upset too. And that's why we want to talk about it. This stuff is outrageous, right? Like, and you can look at politicians. I like MTG, but there's no reason on earth why these Congress people, these people in office should be able to invest in betting markets. And think about predictive markets too. Think about call sheet. Think about Polymarket. It's beyond anything. And that really, like, we've seen an age of real deregulation since we were kids, right? You look at online gambling. You look at stuff like this. It is truly insane. And it's been normalized, right? People look at Nancy Pelosi. Oh, she's worth 120 million. Oh, it's normal.
Oh, we got more. We're going to air all that stuff.
Is that in the file?
Yeah, let's go ahead and pull it up. We're only halfway there, guys. You thought it was just only Republicans. Everybody's guilty.
Man, I hate the photo app on PC. I'll tell you that.
You're good, brother.
All right. You want to present this now?
Yeah, go ahead. All right, guys. This chart should scare you. This chart should scare you. This chart shows members of Congress beating the stock market, and not just by a little bit, by a lot.
Right.
Some lawmakers, as you can see, are posting gains over 100% returns. Okay. This is better than Wall Street. This
And you
is
look at-
better
you look
than
at
Warren Buffett.
You look at him down there at 19%.
This is better than Warren Buffett.
And they got MTG at nearly double that.
Where's
right?
I think I see
You got, Byron Donalds, the guy that Fishback is running against.
43.4%.
Well, he's pro you. He's pro America. He's pro everyone's success. He just wants to have a little more success for himself, right? I mean, you look at this. You got Debbie Wasserman Schultz. I believe that's who she's the ex-head of the DNC. She's a real swamp creature.
Dude, I thought Pelosi was going to be at the top.
No,
but she's not even.
She's like mid-tier.
She's
like
mid-tier.
B-tier. She's like B-tier.
Yeah.
David Rouser, whoever this guy is,
He's
149%.
He's killing it.
What is he tapped
He's
into?
killing it.
How many chickens do you have to kill to
I should have
ritual?
researched more into this guy. Maybe we'll do that at the end of the show.
It's fascinating. I mean, you look at it.
All-star.
I mean, how many seats are there in Congress? Like 500 or something like that?
Yeah, 530 something.
530, and they do it by population, and the Senate is every state gets 2. I mean, we don't even look at most of these people, and they're involved in like the crazy, like who knows who David Rouser is? Maybe
Joe
we will
Schmo,
after
House
this,
member
right.
who you have no clue, but part of some type of
right
board seat that does some type of committee thing that we don't know about.
Ooh, Dan Crenshaw, Eye Patch McCain, 61% return. And you know, it is good, at least with all the corruption and criminality, that it is public, and they do have to say how much money they've made, at least on paper. But think about outside deals, you know, and stuff.
Oh, we're gonna cover all of that. I'm so glad you're bringing these
Think
up to
about
light.
all of that.
We're covering all our bases tonight, guys.
Think
We're
about
not
that.
just taking one angle. We're gonna expose everything. Now, these aren't full-time investors. They don't manage money for a living. But they're still somehow outperforming the best. Warren Buffett's worth billions.
And is this performance year over year? What is this metric? We have someone asking.
yeah.
That's a good question.
I believe so.
Okay, performance year over year. You want to go to the next slide?
No, keep it here for a little bit. All right. So, actually, no, you can.
All right,
go ahead.
We'll go to the next slide,
and we'll cover that in a second. This is the mob boss here.
Yeah.
So, look, lawmakers get private briefings, and they can see crisis before they happen, and they help shape the laws that actually move the market. So there's no reason why they shouldn't be outperforming Buffett.
I told you there was going to be a crisis. I told you there was going to be a problem, and I told you need to invest. and what did you do? You slapped me away, and now you come to me on the day of my daughter's wedding, and you ask me for a favor.
That's a good Godfather.
Yeah, she's Godfather, man.
Now look at this image. This is comparing Nancy Pelosi to the S&P 500. And for people who don't know what the S&P 500 is, just to give it, I know there's a lot of people that don't.
To trade in.
It's an index fund in which the top 500 companies that are the best performing, the A team of companies, basically get put in this index fund, and they track how well those companies are doing. And it basically is always going up and to the right. That's all you need to know, right? So look at these numbers. She turned $100 into $196 when the market only turned $100 into $173. That's about 13% higher than the market. The math is not mathing. And it's not just one lucky trade. This is consistent outperformance, guys.
Yeah, she's outperformed the market at every point except for a brief period in 2019.
Yes.
Significantly outperformed the market. And more recently, very fascinating.
100%. Now, you can cut back to us real quick.
Okay.
Look, guys, I know this is a lot to handle.
We're going to get through it. You're going
to be okay.
It's fun for people. They enjoy it too.
Yeah.
They enjoy it.
You're going to be okay. We know we're getting robbed at gunpoint here, and it sucks. But we're going to make it through this because we still got more people lined up. And in order to understand the present, you got to go to the past because we think it's bad now. It used to be worse, Rex. Really used to be worse. All right. So let's take a look at when corruption was blatant. In the past, corruption was pretty simple and easy to see. Politicians, they took cash gifts, luxury items in exchange for,
vacation,
favors,
travel, trips.
And often when they got caught, the crimes are pretty clear. Okay. So let's look at a clear image of somebody who was just, an all-star at corruption. His name was Duke Cunningham. Okay. Look at this man. All right.
Look at this person.
Now, while Duke was serving in Congress.
Just a good old boy. Never meaning no harm.
No.
Yeah.
Of course not.
Yeah.
Now, while Duke was in Congress, he ran a bribery scheme for almost a decade. Okay. From 1996 to 2005. Defense contractors paid him in cash and luxury items, and they even had what they call the bribe menu. He had a bribe menu. Go ahead and go to the next thing. We're gonna go look at this real quick.
Little restaurant
The
tab.
listed prices for favors. If you want a favor, this is the menu, guys. Let's take a look at that. You can go ahead and read that.
Federal prosecutors say the naked avarice of Randy Duke Cunningham is displayed in this handwritten bribe menu, laying out the successive amounts of government contracts that could be ordered and the amounts in bribes demanded in return. For example, a $16 million contract was offered in exchange for a $140,000 boat. You're just gonna buy me a boat and it's all gonna be okay.
It's gonna be okay.
$1 million more for 17 million total would cost an additional $50,000. Wow.
I mean, look, gotta give him credit. He's organized,
So the
right?
more contracts you get, the more money you get.
100%.
Wow.
100%.
Ain't that how it works? And we
and
know that, but it's out here stated. And how many people have seen this? Nobody's.
Nobody. As I do
Where'd
these
you
deep
find
dives,
this?
as
Where'd
I
you
do
find
these
it?
deep dives, bro, I spent time looking for this stuff. This is on the internet. I found this image specifically. I can't remember what site. I gotta put all of my sources in a.
And
but this is
people
real.
talked about that before.
This is real.
Yes.
Trust me, I'm not making this up. You can go find this on the internet. Just go look up Duke Cunningham, and you guys are gonna see this exact same menu. This is not a lie, right?
And see, if you don't pay your property taxes, they're going to take your house.
Yep.
And then they got a bribe menu. So make that, square that with me. Make that make sense.
So these contracts, right? 16 million, 17 million. Basically, you do these contracts and, he's giving you these military contracts as a result of paying him. So the money goes directly to him. And not just him, there's other people that are involved with these schemes, and favors were pretty explicit. Like they weren't even trying to cherry coat, they weren't trying to sit there and paint a nice picture and be like, oh, well, it's kind of corruption. No, it was just blatant at that point. Right. Laws were clearly broken. And prison time eventually followed because there was no way to actually.
They got him, but they didn't get other people, did they? Oh, no.
I know. There's definitely
and that's
people
the thing.
that
There's always
out.
a scapegoat, right? Like when they catch you, they go, look, like you're the guy running it. I'm sorry, we got to send you 20 years.
It's Epstein.
Yeah,
right. It's Epstein 2.0.
Exactly.
Basically, he's the only one that gets, even though there's 10
and we talk
co-conspirators.
about, and that's a great point because we talk about corruption at a high level and people point at Epstein, but what's this guy's name? What's his name?
Duke Cunningham.
Yeah, how many people know about Duke Cunningham, right?
No
how
clue.
many other figures are we going to find in our history of doing the gray area and really exposing this information?
100%.
Phenomenal.
Now, look, at a certain point, there was a breaking point with this whole system, all right? 2008, okay? 2008 happened. Financial system collapsed. Everybody knows how that happened. I don't have to go into details with that. But what was happening in the background is something to pay attention to, right? So while the markets are crashing, people were quietly trading their own stocks before the public, and people noticed. And then lawmakers were trying to protect their money while making millions, and people and millions had lost their homes and their jobs. Okay. So then what ended up happening was, of course, in bad times, people get together, they're upset. They're like, something needs to be done. So in 2012, the Congress came out with this little act called the Stock Act. It's very
stop trading on congressional knowledge.
Look how creative they are.
I like that. Yeah.
So go ahead and read that little blurb.
The Stop Trading on Congressional Knowledge Act prohibits the use of non-public information by members of Congress, federal employees, or any other officials to make a private profit. It ensures financial transparency and holds officials accountable. Key provisions: members of Congress and officials must report stock trades over $1,000 within 45 days. Disclosures are posted online for public transparency. Applies to trades by spouses and dependents. Passed with strong bipartisan backing in April 2012. So what happened to this, Tim? Sounds pretty.
It's still in.
Yeah. So this is why we know this
is still here.
And at least you can then go ahead and bet with them, right? At least you can follow the trade.
Yeah, buddy.
That would be the smart thing to do.
Yeah, buddy.
Like copy everything.
So
Pelosi does.
as you've read, lawmakers after this whole thing happened, they basically are required to apply rules to this. They're required to report public trading of stocks and expose the conflicts of interest. So this is actually what actually happened as a basis of this. So stock trading was still allowed, and actually the enforcement has still stayed weak. So now we're going to expose the conflicts of interest on what actually happened. And even though people are being exposed, even as they're clearly doing things in plain sight.
Here's the thing.
Oh shit!
No, Senator Burr.
We're going right to this video.
Go to this video.
You
now?
think it's bad, guys? We did this in 2012, and this video is about to show you how none of it matters. It absolutely none of it matters. It sucks. The government sucks. There's no accountability, and this video is about to show you. I want you guys to pay close attention to some of the people listed on here and the stocks that they trade. Go ahead, Rex.
Because here's the thing, Senator Burr, he's not the exception. To better understand how widespread this issue is, and if one party is doing it more than the other,
I sat down with Chris Kardatsky of Quiver Quantitative, a company that uses alternative public data sources to help retail investors make better decisions. Because apparently, one of the best ways to do that is by tracking members of Congress.
Last year, we launched a portfolio on an app called Autopilot. Every month, it buys stock in the companies that are being bought the most by members of Congress. And since we've launched that last year, it's risen around 33%, I believe, whereas the market is up around 24% over the same time frame.
Is either political party worse on this? Does one party trade more than the other one?
We haven't seen any sort of lean one way or the other. We see suspicious trades on both sides of the aisle.
Are there any other examples of trades that you've been watching recently that you could walk us through?
Back in November, we noticed Representative Debbie Wasserman Schultz buying stock in a company called Viasat. And it really caught our eye because it was the first time we'd seen her buy the stock. It was the first time we'd seen any member buy the stock.
Okay, so Debbie Wasserman Schultz sits on the Appropriations Committee and the Subcommittee on Military Construction. That's not a good look right off the bat.
And then in December, it was announced that Viasat would be awarded part of like a $4 billion NASA contract, and the stock just rose.
Looks like they got another big contract also with the Department of Defense right after the NASA contract.
A couple years ago, we saw Representative Susie Lee buy stock in a company called Rheinmetall.
Wow.
Which is a German defense contractor, which, I mean, that rang alarm bells for us because it's like it was a stock we hadn't really seen any members trade before, and obviously very tied into U.S. defense policy.
It's like they're doing a lot of work with the Army lately. Tank modernization. I bet there's big money in that.
Susie Lee sat on a committee on
getting worse, guys.
And since then, the stock's risen like, I think, 250%. Last year, we saw Senator Markwayne Mullin buy stock in a company called Badger Meter, which really caught our attention because Badger Meter makes automated water meters. And Senator Markwayne Mullin sits on the Senate Committee on Environment and Public Works. And we learned that the EPA had recently passed a mandate basically encouraging cities to switch to automated water meters. The year following the trade, Badger Meter stock rose around 40% before Senator Markwayne Mullin.
You can't make this stuff up, guys.
No.
Go ahead and cut back to us.
No, 100%.
You cannot make this stuff up. Rex, I'm going to be honest. Before I started doing this deep dive, I had no clue who like 90% of these people were, but somehow they got voted in.
Right. And that's the thing is like the American public is uninformed as to who they put in office. We don't know most of these people's names, but they're making millions and millions of dollars shorting the American people.
Random Joe Schmo from like Minnesota or like some place gets voted in for something, and then he instantly gets put into some committee that makes them money. I don't know who these people are. Do you guys know who they are? I'm sure some people do.
I think it is good that at least you can bet with them. All right, at least you can make some money off of it.
The people who did this, they did the auto trading.
Real smart. Really
flawless.
Smart.
I actually endorse. This isn't financial advice, but I have seen people do this where they go and they like trade Nancy Pelosi stocks, and they're making money. I low-key might open up an account and just do this as like a passive way of income, because might as well, if you can't beat them, join them.
It just sounds so good. This is like an elevator pitch as to why I should invest like that. And we see someone with a very funny name, Throbinhood. Throbinhood says, follow the money, you'll understand how they get elected. He says, this is politics 101. Sorry, just learning about how it all works. It gets worse. We know that the most important stuff is to go over the 101 stuff, because most people claim to know it and actually don't.
You know these people, because I don't
know. Because like, here's the thing. We know some of it. We don't know all of it. That's why we get into it every day.
No.
The basics, people think that complexity is like the smart thing and people get enthralled with that. Really, the genius is found in the simplicity, right?
Yes,
that's what we're going over here.
And they're hiding in plain sight.
Right.
That's the worst part about this.
Throughout human history,
you think
no
people
matter
are going to
what-
spend the time going into like these nitty-gritty documents on the website and like look at all these confusing documents and all the P&Ls and stuff like that? The average person isn't going to do that.
Right.
I don't even do that. Okay. Unless you're like, you have a very invested interest, it just happens.
Right.
And they never get prosecuted. Now, today, corruption is quieter and harder to prove. So instead of taking money directly,
well, it's not corruption if it's legal. That's their argument, right?
Well, politicians are using distance instead of taking money directly. So now there's other ways to do it, not just trading stocks money can actually flow through family members, friends, businesses, and foreign deals. So politicians can still have the benefits, but their name is not attached to the transaction.
Right,
This
just
has
one
become
step removed.
This has been the loophole around it. And this corruption is by proxy. And it still stays legal even when it looks wrong.
Right.
Okay. And the money is routed through spouses, adult children. You've got deals done by close friends, business partners, offshore companies, and foreign investments. You got private equity. You've got consulting roles. And it's just honestly a grift, you know? And so, you know, let's go ahead and play this clip because it's going to show, you know, some of the best people at doing this, the Biden family.
Ooh.
It's not just a Republican doing this. You got
it's uniparty, man.
Uniparty, baby.
It's two wings on the same bird.
Throughout human history, no matter what culture you looked at, using arranged marriages as a tool to get access to powerful people has been the norm. If my son marries your daughter, you're probably going to be more likely to do business with me and pass favors along my way. Now today, arranged marriages don't really mix well with our Western culture. So instead of arranging our kids to be married to each other, they go into business with each other and still get all the same benefits. Yes, and don't worry, no matter if you're right, left, it's all the same. Just take a look at what the sons of former Vice President Joe Biden and former Senator John Kerry did when they were both in office. Their sons, Hunter and Christopher, founded an international private equity firm called Rosemont Seneca Partners. And as Joe Biden was carrying out important foreign relation missions in China, Hunter's company also closed some pretty sweet deals with the Chinese government at the same time. Coincidentally, of course. In 2013, as the tensions in the East China Sea were rising with China making some very aggressive territorial claims,
China today scrambled warplanes over disputed islands that are claimed by both China and Japan. And as Seth Doan in Beijing reports, tensions are rising fast.
Joe Biden and his son Hunter went to visit China to try to calm things down. After a mere 10 days passes, Hunter closed a $1.5 billion deal with the Chinese government-run Bank of China, where the Chinese government was literally funding a business that was co-owned.
Oh, and his dad is just the vice president. That's not a big deal. And see, that's legal, right? It's totally legal.
Hey, don't worry. He's got a pardon. So there ain't nothing happening.
Yeah, there's nothing to look at.
Nothing to look at here, guys.
Some of America's most powerful decision makers. A deal that no other Western firms with much longer track records and much more experience than Rosemont Seneca were able to accomplish with the Chinese at the time. But since China arguably had a lot to gain by getting closer to the vice president of the US, why not throw a bone to his son? China's influence will grow and Joe Biden's family's wealth will get bigger without Joe running into any of the legal troubles if he were the one to get the deal. This led to many other similar deals that were equally as lucrative.
Oh, lucrative deals with China, deals with Ukraine. And see, he can do it because he's the president's son, and the other guy can do it because he's also involved in administration with his family. You can't do it. You can't buy the house. You can't feed your kids. You can't send your kids to the school you want to send them to, but you're told that that's okay. You're told that that's normal and that's the American dream. So what are we going to do about this, Tim?
Nothing, because you know what? It's not just the left doing this. Donald Trump's kids are doing the same thing right now.
The president has a crypto coin.
Crypto meme coin.
Trump coin.
You've got his kids.
Barron, we're gonna make you worth $100 million really quick. I'm gonna launch this thing. It's gonna be called Trump coin, and you're going to make the tens of millions, my little baby boy.
Yes,
like that. Yes. And you look at it, and like we're supposed to worship these people, and like, oh, these are the elites. These are the people in charge, and it's just like they're the people that are best at grifting, man. They're people that they're the best at stealing from us.
Yes.
At the end of the day.
And you would never know that these kids are doing this because they're not in the limelight. You know, the president and the vice president
by design, and you notice that.
Right. And it's a smoke screen. So while you're paying attention to Venezuela, guys, his kids
money.
Is out here making billions of dollars overseas, making backdoor deals, allegedly.
When you're seeing Maduro get arrested and wearing the tracksuit, they've already bet on the military contracts that were signed off on months ago.
Can we see if I've got this tweet here?
Which one?
Just
I'll try to find
go
it.
see if I got the tweet in here. No. Go back to that file. Let's
okay.
Go. Right. I have a tweet of when the president took a Boeing plane. Go to extra.
Mm-hmm.
And
which one? Oh, I got it.
Yeah. Let's pull this up. You know, since we're on the topic of Trump, I wasn't sure whether I was going to cover this, but if you guys remember back in May, the United States took a
A plane from Qatar.
From Qatar, right?
Well, they gave us.
They gave it to us. All right, let's
They
go ahead
gave
and
me
just
a
quickly
plane
read
because
this.
I'm the greatest.
No
All right.
briberies here, right?
The Boeing 747 is being given to the United States Air Force Department of Defense. Not to me. It is a gift from the nation Qatar that we have successfully defended for many years. It will be used by our government as a temporary Air Force One until such time as our new Boeings, which are very late on delivery, very bad, arrive. Why should our military and therefore our taxpayers be forced to pay hundreds of millions of dollars when they can get it for free? Billions from a country that wants to reward us for a job well done. These big savings will be spent instead to make America great again. Only a fool would not. Only a fool would not accept the gift. Yeah, only a fool would not accept this gift on behalf of our country. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Yeah, yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, Mr. President.
Grift us
hard.
in plain sight. Yes,
Mr. President.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So what does this really mean, Tim?
MAGA for life. That's what it means. I lost my
Yeah,
hat.
MAGA for life.
All right, we're taking this stuff off because now we're getting serious. Okay. Look. This was the segment, guys.
Phenomenal.
But look, we'll leave the tie on. All right, listen.
A lot of complicated.
Now I joke around about this stuff, but like there's a part of me that actually is very upset about all of this. And it's like you joke around because it feels like that's the only thing to do is just laugh about it. But like Rex, I don't know about you, but for myself personally in my life, I'm in that working class where I'm trying to strive to do something big.
You're trying to succeed in America.
And I am getting taxed at insane numbers, like somewhere between like 20 to 30 something percent.
You're trying to create jobs, trying to create opportunities,
But I've literally been down to my last dollar before.
Yes.
And I haven't been able to afford paying for groceries at times where I was just eating eggs.
Mm-hmm.
There were times where I literally didn't have gas money. So the gas meter would stay pretty much almost near E every single day, especially in college. And, all that time sitting there struggling, having taxes being taken out of my account every single time I got a paycheck, in which literally a third of that goes to the government.
Right.
Right. And you can sit there and say, well, it's all about, how you spend it and stuff. Look, I'm a very financially responsible person and I try to do things in investments, but that little extra money would get me far.
And it's beyond that. Beyond taking your tax money, they don't even respect your tax money.
Don't even respect
because
it.
we spend 4.8 trillion or we take in 4.8 trillion in tax revenue and then we spend around 6.7 to 7 trillion every year. So they're not even taking our money with respect to trying to pay the debt off or do anything like that.
Nope.
They're just like, look, we're going to take your money and then we're going to print more. We're going to take more your money and we're also going to devalue it as we take it, and we're going to short you on the betting market as we do it.
Did you vote for this?
Beyond anything. No,
did you vote for this?
I absolutely did not vote for this.
I didn't vote for this. Did you guys vote for this?
I don't think they did.
I don't think you guys voted for this. And at the end of the day, it's so sad because the only thing we can do is go.
I don't think
and you watch a guy.
Yeah.
You watch a guy sit on here with the crazy hat, right?
Right.
Look at me, and all I can do is make light of it to make attention so that you guys know what's going on. But even the fact that we know that this is going on, there is nothing that I feel like we can do about it. And that is the saddest thing in the world for me to say that.
And you said, did you vote for this? And I said, no, I don't think anyone's ever voted for it. I don't think anyone's ever voted for any of these things because we're so propagandized and we're taught not to expect better and not to expect actual change. And that's what we see. Like, people were super excited about Obama. Obama promised hope and change. He reneged on all of that. People were excited about Trump. Trump promised to make America great again. Second golden age happening to you? It's not happening to me right now.
Oh,
yeah. It's not happening to our audience. So, you raise very interesting points. All these things are very key. I think that was a phenomenal breakdown.
And this is what we do on the gray area. There's a lot of people in here that this is the first time that you're probably watching.
Right.
I want to break down exactly what this show is about because we make jokes, we laugh, we have fun with it, but we're standing out from other shows by reporting on things that other people aren't talking about and trying to deliver it in a specific way that you can understand. I do this every single Sunday on different topics for you guys to be entertained and be involved. Okay. The main purpose of the gray area, it is not black. It is not white. It is not right. It is not left. It is a gray area in which there's an overlap of ideas. I came from New York. He lives in Texas, right? Okay. We realized that we had more in common than we disagreed, but there was enough chaos going out there in which each side thinks they're fundamentally right. There are people that support Trump till he dies. There are people that support Biden till he dies.
Right.
And the whole point of this show is to expose that none of those people are the solution. And we're sick and tired
No
of this.
Star Wars narrative about the Rebel Alliance and the Empire, and no football team. I like the Ravens. I like the Giants. We're leaving that behind. We're leaving that behind. We're going forward into the future. This is what people, specifically young people, want to hear about, because this is how everyone feels. And instead of falling into like a horrific communism style situation, if we don't want that, because that is real change that they're offering, even if it's bad, if we don't want that, we have to offer an alternative version of the future. And that's what's made me sad about the current administration, is they haven't done that. They have continued to pull the line for the status quo.
And look, I know a lot of you guys have your regular viewership on other shows, but if this is a show that you want something different,
right,
I encourage each and every one of you guys, not even just give me a follow. If you're following Rex, that's fantastic. Give him a follow, but follow Gray Area Talks, because this is something that we believe down to our core and are not going to stop speaking about these things. We're going to keep airing everybody's dirty laundry. And the whole point of the show is to do something different.
Right.
If you want to break from people appealing to their base and talking in shows, and you got the Candace Owens sitting there giving you slop, talking about Fort Huachuca Hookah Wooka Waka, right? Why do we care about that stuff when literally you're getting robbed in clear daylight in front of your eyes, right? Why aren't we reporting more on those things? So
And this isn't like, this should be covered every day. And the person says it's 101. Yeah, it's 101. It should be covered every single day, because if most people were aware of it, they'd try to do something to stop it. Right.
Yes.
So I think this has been a phenomenal show.
Look, I know you didn't want to, but I really want to take just a couple of calls.
You want to take a couple of calls tonight? Okay.
It's only 9. We've got some more time. I want to open up the phone lines for 3 people to join.
3 callers.
There's a lot of people in here. Listen to how this works. There's going to be a graphic that comes up.
We'll read the number.
We'll read the number off as well. There's a graphic that comes up. You can use that, call on your phone specifically, and you can call into the show and you will be put on air. Now, if those 3 slots are filled, and it will send you to like a buzzard, like boop, 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 basically saying that like we can't connect you. It means those 3 slots are full. There's a lot of you guys. I know everybody. There's going to be a lot of people that want to call in and talk to us specifically. Unfortunately, we don't have enough time to do, just give it a second. I'll connect it. We don't have enough time to take like everybody out there, but at least we want to hear from some people that are tuning in. Maybe it's your first time, maybe you've been here before, but give us a chance and go ahead and call this number.
So I can
let me go ahead and
live number.
Did you log in?
Yeah. And then it brought me here. Oh, okay.
We're connected.
All right, we're connected already. I'm just on the previous page here. I can handle it.
So
you're going to want to call in at 512-675-7144. We're going to post a graphic with the number in a second, but I'm going to read it out. 512-675-7144. That's 512-675-7144.
Let's go ahead and
what's going on there?
Go back to StreamYard.
Go back to StreamYard.
Oh, did it cut out?
Yeah, I think it cut out. Do we have to do it again?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, we got to do it again because it glitched out on us. Here, go ahead.
We love technology.
Forgive us, guys.
Everything today is trying to
trying to derail the show. We
won't
let it happen. We're not going to submit to the technology.
All right, let me restart this.
Yeah, we're going to restart it. We're going to try again.
This is ironic.
It's very typical.
No, honestly, this hasn't even happened before. So
it's happened to me one time.
We're gonna get you guys on here. Okay. All right, let's get started now. My shows.
Host.
Yup. Ready to host.
And then I think it's the other tab as well. But you're going to be able to call in, guys.
Hold on 1 second.
Once we verify that you're able to do that. Sorry to anyone that tried to do it right then. And we should be good, right? It should be in the other tab. Yeah, we're live. I think every time we click the button, it resets the request. I think that's the problem.
Is it?
Yeah, I think that's what's going on.
All right, let's see if the phones should be open now.
Yeah, that's 512.
No host connection. Please connect host. What is going on today?
We're being derailed tonight.
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
Okay, we're still live. So
yes, and they did rug pull the Trump coin. Of course they did, but people made money off of it. The people connected made money off of it. Of course they did, right? I mean,
I'm actually not hearing the audio from that too.
The doot doot doot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna try this one last time. Damn, because I really wanted to hear from you guys.
Yeah, we still do.
Let me log out and log back in. Crazy. I command you to work today.
Come on, I command you to grow today. Let's go. Let's go. I mean, we should be connected. I think every time you click that, okay,
You are connected as the
good
host.
noise.
There we go.
Welcome,
All right.
host.
All right,
You are
it
now in
works
the
now,
host
guys.
room and
Commanded it
can
to
manage your
work, and it
callers
now
from
is
the
working.
call-in
I'm going to say
studio
it
web
again.
interface.
512-675-7144. 512-675-7144.
We will
That's
be right back.
512-675-7144.
Be right back, guys.
Okay, we're joined by Nimrod Pod, the guy that made the James Fishback Connect
Yes, he
happen
did.
for us. Thank you for that, man. That was a phenomenal interview.
Of course, guys. I knew you guys would be a match made in heaven, and that was, everything I hoped it would be and more. I'm glad, every time I call into this show, I, spiral into a pool of shame and sadness, and then I can't sleep all night. But actually, having James Fishback on this show and seeing the twinkle in your guys' eyes gives me so much hope. And I think, as critical as we are about the current American government system, I think that there is a ton of hope. And if we can just get behind people that are
right,
giving us what we want, not just saying the right things, but giving us what we want, and hopefully we'll bring policy action forward. I'm very bullish. So I hope you guys have more folks like James Fishback on the show.
Yeah, no, it's very encouraging, and that's what I like to see. I know he's not independent. I know he's a Republican and running in the Republican Party, but hearing people that actually have their own views and that are eloquent and that can elaborate on what they're trying to do for the American people instead of just some brand generic slogan, like that's what I used to love about Trump is Trump used to talk about policy, and then now it's kind of the slop. And, like him or hate him or whatever your view is, James Fishback knows what he's talking about, and he knows his message.
He was sharp.
The sharpest guy we've talked to on the show. He reminded me of Chase so much. He reminded me of Chase Geyser so much.
Oh,
he really did.
Well, like in a more like Chase is a little silly, but he was like, but they do have that
Uber
conviction.
Chase.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what did you think about the interview? You think it was high quality?
I mean, it was phenomenal. I've heard a lot of his talking points before, but I think, Tim in particular was asking him really good questions and pushing him out of his comfort zone and answering those those questions in the gray area that no one else is asking him. So I feel like we really got to know him on a deeper level.
Yeah, my goal with that was to not just like, the conservative, like friendly Fox and Friends style. Like I wanted to give him some, hardball questions, because at the end of the day, this isn't just a right-left dichotomy. It's just something that we talk about and we want to have open dialogue.
Right. And it's like, I ask him, I'm like, do we have the right to that oil? Like, is that our oil? Like, we're going to ask these questions to people. And hey, like, I disagree with him a lot on the Venezuela situation, but you can hear him eloquently make his argument for why he believes that was the right thing to happen.
Right.
And ultimately, like, if that's what people support, that's what people support. And like, certainly I wouldn't want to debate the guy.
No. It's like going in front of Ben Shapiro.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. No, very talented. Like, I know it's hard to run against a guy that has 40 million. I know it's difficult, but the organic social media campaigns I've seen him run, the way he talks. I mean, if you get him on a stage against Byron Donalds, the other guy doesn't stand a chance. So very interesting to see. What did you think of our corruption segment?
That was hilarious. I'm glad you guys are bringing light to that. I think I was 3 for 3. So I don't mean to brag. I hope I have a full palette coming in next
Honestly,
week.
you deserve it for bringing on the guest.
100%.
Just DM Rex or I at the end of this, and we'll go ahead and we'll make sure we'll get you in order. Okay, man.
In order. Thank you so much, man.
No, we can keep them on a little bit more. We got some more time.
Got anything you want to say in regards to the entire political situation we discussed tonight?
Yeah, I think what I've been trying to do recently is get behind potential candidates that are going to put America first, that are going to put populism ahead of corporate interests. And I think Fishback really sparked the fire on this, and we're starting to see more and more America first political candidates come about. Guys like Casey Push in Ohio, guys like, you could say Mike Lindell in Minnesota to some extent. Aaron Baker running against Randy Fine in Florida for his congressional seat. There's one topic I wanted to bring up with you guys. There's a little bit of nuance. So I wanted to talk about how this Somali fraud scheme ties into the 2026 midterms. Now, obviously, this fraud was at first exposed in Minnesota, but now it's turning out to be a problem all across the country. And massive fraud is now being uncovered in great states like Ohio and Texas. And as you know, Tim Walz is on the hot seat, and he's under investigation by the DOJ since this fraud happened right under his nose. So I would assume that Governor DeWine of Ohio and Governor Abbott of Texas will be under fire next as well. And thankfully, we have some pretty solid America First gubernatorial candidates in Ohio and Minnesota with Push and Lindell, respectively. But Greg Abbott is running unchallenged in the 2026 Texas governor's race.
Of course.
So my question for both of you, fellow Texans, why is nobody demanding a real America First populist governor in Texas? And why are we settling for Greg Abbott, who has allowed the Jewish Islamic Alliance to absolutely dismantle the state of Texas? I think the great Christian people of Texas deserve a governor that reflects their character and shares their core values. You guys being Texans, the InfoWars crew being all from Texas, out of the Austin Central Command Center, why is nobody talking about the Texas election?
I agree. I think it's because of fear mongering, man. The situation, for as long as I can remember it, being a Texan, living here my whole life, is we don't want to let the Democrat win. You got to endorse the GOP candidate, basically. And like that's what I've seen. You look at someone like Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz is objectively awful. Ted Cruz, Tel Aviv Ted, also
Ted Cruz missile.
Cancun Ted, right? Like he's loyal to Mexico. He's loyal to Israel. He's not loyal to us. But people will vote for him and vote for him and vote for him and shit. I voted for him in 2020 because I didn't know any better, or whatever year it was. I voted for Ted Cruz one time. And that's just me being uninformed. That's me being like, I want to keep my gun rights. I just XYZ. If there was another candidate to support that actually identified with my values, I would have supported them. And that's what I realize now. When you talk about him running unchallenged in the primary, that's a damn shame. It's a damn shame.
Do you think he's doing a good job, though?
I mean, no. I don't think any of them are doing a good job. I think they're all involved in fraud. I think anyone that's establishment, GOP, or Democrat is a criminal, honestly.
Yeah, I mean,
whether you're in a wheelchair or not, you know. sorry. you know how that happened, right? He was jogging during a storm and a tree fell on him.
Really?
Yeah, I believe that's
before he ran, right?
Folklore. After he ran. After he ran.
We're so cooked, man.
Yeah, after he ran. He ran for office. That's actually pretty funny. Yeah, after Greg Abbott ran, he then ran for office.
Oh man!
But yeah, no, I absolutely would support a challenge. If the person was eloquent and smart like Fishback, and they had an agenda, I would support him. And I think it's a damn shame that there isn't anyone running against him.
I think here's my take on it. I don't really have. I'm not as much knowledgeable as you because of the fact that I'm from another state and I'm new to Texas, so I've only been here for like a little under 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So like everything I know surrounding this has been like baked into the post-COVID era. So I don't know what it was like prior to.
There's a map with states of the lowest that had the lowest opinion of each other. And Texas doesn't like California. California doesn't like Texas. Connecticut doesn't like Texas.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, it was very difficult to even convince some of my family of the standard of living that is here.
It's better here.
Affordable.
It's objectively better here.
Yeah. But long story short, I think, look, I mean, you're saying like replace Greg Abbott, but you guys just haven't existed in a state that doesn't have someone with common sense. And not that all of his rules make sense.
Well, shit.
But like
but this is what we're talking about with the politicians is we need to like, if you're going to be elected over and over and over again, first thing, number one, term limits, right? For everything.
So Texas is one of the ones that doesn't. There's some other states that also don't have term limits.
We should have term limits. Absolutely. I think it's a problem if you don't.
But I think to be honest, I think he still made Texas better than what it was.
Okay.
If I look at the net of where you guys were before.
All right. Very interesting. Very interesting. Thank you, Nimrod Pod, for your points tonight. We're going to go to another caller. We have another caller on the board. I just want to remind everyone you can call into the show at 512-675-7144. And we're going to talk to this caller right here. We're going to find out what his name is. Howdy. Who are we on the phone with? Are we on the phone with Lauren?
Oh, hey. Am I him? Rex, come on. Guys, I just want to say I really love where the show is going. I feel like some months ago I called in and we talked about some immigration stuff, but it's just been incredible watching you guys grow. And having a whole politician on the show is crazy. And I actually really like the guy. He seems really level-headed. The way he communicated, you could tell he's like college educated, or even if he wasn't college educated, he's educated. And I feel like that's such a rarity nowadays in politics where I feel like half the shit I hear are like, if you watch like the videos where there's like the house and a bunch of people talking to each other and they're like screaming at each other and the guy's like, give the woman 5 more minutes. And then they're all talking to each other. I can see that he has a level-headed mindset and he's practical. And I feel like we need more of that in today's age where, and I don't really care about what you're labeling yourself, Republican, Democrat, like I can give a flying fuck about that.
Right.
It matters to me is what are your values, and I could tell that my values with him align. And like, even though I'm maybe not the same race or anything, like none of that matters to me because it just has to do with being a human being. And he seemed very human and down to earth to talk about things that are real issues that actually affect people. So
what was your
kudos to you guys?
And those are good points. What was your reaction on the politician segment? How did you feel about that?
Oh, y'all are hilarious. Y'all are so hilarious. I didn't actually, that people are corrupt and everyone jokes about it all the time, but you really don't dig enough to see how corrupt everything is on both sides. And I was just sitting in the kitchen like cracking up, also really disappointed at the same time.
Right.
It feels almost sad.
And that's the irony of it is it's so ridiculous. And
Yeah.
then you look at it and you're like, this is what's been going on forever. And then you're like, whoa. But go ahead.
No, insane. You're exactly right, Rex. It's insane. And also, like, you probably didn't even go and scratch the surface you guys about how long corruption, like, I mean, you talked about how the laws have changed to, I guess, quote unquote, be more transparent with no legal action. But, you know, I'm a big history buff. So like, I love to see like just the history of even like deeper corruption and how that's affected in modern day politics, because it just seems like it's just the norm at this point, or that's maybe what people have to do. So I'm just very curious, like, is it a necessity or is it greed? Like, you know, what's motivating these politicians to do the same? Because are there some that aren't doing it, or is it just a necessity and they're not being paid enough apparently? Because I guess my salary that I have right now as a middle class person, I guess I'm complaining, and if a politician is complaining about their 6-figure salary that's just not obtainable to have a great life, then maybe we should be paying them more. I don't know.
Well,
is that the solution?
I think the money is irrelevant. I think they know they're on the winning team. That's number one. It feels good to win. That's number two. I like, there's the money, there's the power in the system, there's the authority that comes with it. There's all that combined. But beyond any of that, like, these people, they rub shoulders with each other. They go to the cocktail and champagne parties with each other. They're in the tuxedo ties in the dark rooms. This is how they live their life, right? And you can look at someone like Fishback, and even if you don't agree 100% with what he says, you can tell he's not like one of those people, because he's so invested in what he believes in that he can speak on it at such a high level.
Yeah, here's what I think and why it's happening. I think there's genuinely, like, so for one, not all politicians that go into politics are like corrupt and taking money
or
and
start off that way.
Yeah, like, I mean, they don't, and don't start off that way too, right? Like that, I've
convinced over time.
Exactly.
Right?
There's some people that really go in there with genuine intentions, but then when you are like in the club and realize, oh wow, these people run it and there's nothing I can do, you kind of feel defeated to where like, this is your source of income. These are the things that you're able to do. And in order to like afford and keep up with the lifestyle of DC, I'm going to be honest, 174 for being at these high profile dinners and a lot of other stuff might not be enough, but who knows?
Right.
I don't,
but hey,
I'm not going to sit there and be like,
I'll buy your dinner for you.
To have a membership at Mar-a-Lago?
What do you say?
It's like crazy. It's like to have a membership at Mar-a-Lago, like
well, that's the clubhouse. That's the Mickey Mouse clubhouse. That's where they play around with the mouse tools.
And here's the thing also, there are a lot of politicians that get into politics that already have money, and they're just using this as a way to make more money. Right. Like they already have that entrepreneur mindset where they're like, well, if he's doing it, I might as well do it too.
Right, like MTG, like she comes in, she's got 700 grand. That's a lot of money. You know, that's real money. And hey, she's in construction, has a construction company, whatnot. But you don't go from 700K.
Silly.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Does it sound silly to say, like, as a citizen, if you're gonna be corrupt, so be it. But at least help me.
Well, that's the thing. At least you can trade off it. At least you can copy what they do. You can copy the crime. It's legal to do so.
That is a good
and
point.
that would be my argument to that.
Well, because here's the thing, in the grand scheme of things, right? The difference between, MTG making, 1 million and then getting up to 25 million is nothing in comparison to the billions. Yeah, you could say that. But I mean, look, other countries are right now struggling with protests and all the things going around there because of the corruption that's going. We have legal corruption is our issue, not even just plain blatant.
The law.
Yeah, it's baked into the law. So I don't really, there's no real solution when you have it baked into the law. And that's why I've said on the gray area a bunch, look, if you want to play the game, you have to kind of have a business and like use the laws that are in place. Like they're not going away. So
and they're there for a reason too. They're there to be taken advantage of.
Yeah,
like that's the truth.
To incentivize
these politicians, they know that, and that's how they win in the system. But then you're told, if you're an American, that it's wrong to do such a thing.
This is
right,
true.
and that's the craziness. In closing, what do you think, Lauren, about all of this?
I don't know. Like at this point, it's like I don't want to have a victim mentality or defeated mentality about it, where I'm like, oh, woe is me, here I am. Honestly, where I am in life, there are so many things I can't complain about because I'm so fortunate. But I had to work hard to get there, So it's like I I don't want to say respect the grift or the hustle, because it's like I don't even want to morally respect it. But from just the fact of the matter is, like, no matter how you skew it, like, they worked hard to get to a place where people voted them in, and they're taking advantages of the law at place. I just hope from a moral standpoint, like, I guess they can die happy or something. Like, I have no clue what, their
Well,
reckoning
that's
is with all
the
of
goal.
this.
That's their goal. So they're like, look, we got like 30, 20, 10 years left on this earth anyway. I'm Gen X. I'm a boomer. Might as well, go out in the mansion. Might as well burn the country down. So, like,
and they know the ship is sinking, so they're like, well, let's get as much money as we can, create investments overseas, let's hedge our bets and make sure our families have something to
do
eat
as much war as possible so we can just
Yeah.
bid on these defense contracts and win that way. I mean, it is wild, and we really appreciate you being a fan of the show, being a listener, and appreciating what we do, because we want people to appreciate what we do. We want people to be happy with it. We want people to feel like they've gotten not their money's worth, but their time's worth out of us, which is even more important, because you can make more money, you can't make more time. So it's a very high compliment.
You can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all are incredible, and I'm super excited about Primal Core as well. I could yet to buy anything because I'm interested to know, like, how it affects women. I have to go and steal it now, but I'm going to do my research because, I just want to make sure I'm fine, and, as a woman taking it, which I think I am, but, you always make sure you're informed. But either way, I've got men in my life that I would totally buy and send it over to them for holiday presents. But
beautiful.
Just overall, guys, I'm so happy and proud of where the show is going, and I want more people. I don't know, like, you guys kind of raised the bar with the Fishback guy, and I looked at his Twitter following, and now I'm like, who are they going to bring on next? Like, is it another politician? Is it someone? I don't know. I don't say anything has to be controversial, but I just kind of want to hear different perspectives.
Right.
But y'all are incredible.
Well, that right there is the key, and that's really how we take the show to the next level in 2026 and beyond, is by getting those high quality guests for our Sunday episodes. And Tim put in the legwork, the hard effort to get James available, to get him on the stream with us so that we were able to do the interview. And that was definitely, we've done some good interviews, but there are people I've been connected to and prior, we had opportunities and we took advantage of those. This was something where Tim made the Grassroots connection with James, and in connection with Nimrod Pod, obviously. Nimrod Pod, shout out to you. Follow Nimrod Pod on X.
Yeah.
Without him, it wouldn't have been possible.
It was the only
I feel bad. I should have let you plug, bro. My bad.
The whole idea, I didn't know who he was. He made us aware, and then I looked into him, and then when I saw him becoming even more relevant on my feed, I was like, I think we should bring this guy on, and I reached out to him and tried to coordinate this whole thing. So I'm grateful for the fact that
thank you so much.
He came on. I'm grateful for, like, you, Lauren, listening in. We do this for the love of the game.
Right.
At the end of the day, like, I spend more time on this than my own job sometimes, because this is what I love to do, and this is what I'm dedicated to, know. So I appreciate every single person that has listened and every single person that has called in tonight.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Lauren, for calling in. We're about to wrap up here
you
soon.
guys are amazing. Well, see y'all.
Call in again. Thank you so much, Lauren. Really appreciate your call. Really appreciate it.
No problem, Rex. Catch y'all later.
See ya.
Well, I think that's about as good as an episode as you can do. We did wonderful prepared segment. We did wonderful interview. We took a couple calls. We're going to end it here.
Yeah, we are.
Thank you for being here. Gray Area Live 37.
And here's the last thing I'll say. Look, I know there's a lot of you guys who are new to us, haven't seen us before. If there was anything that resonated with you in this show, only one simple ask is to just hit that follow button, especially
or subscribe
on YouTube, wherever you're watching. If you go to the bio and Rex's profile, right? Can you pull this up real quick so that people can see?
I will do that. Yeah.
This is where you're going to see a lot of our clips. This is where you're going to get a lot of the value of what our show means to us. This is Rex. When Rex and I started the show, we did it for a reason, because we actually wanted to bring value to the marketplace and start something that was different.
Yes.
If you believe anything about this, left, right, slop is
We're
ridiculous.
doing good, man. Look at that.
I know, dude.
Look at
We
that.
started
Almost
this
at
in
1,000.
August, and everybody who has supported us has literally made us drive harder. I spend hours doing these prepared segments, doing the deep
Phenomenal
dives
work.
specifically to give value to you guys because not
Wow.
everybody is doing
Wow,
that.
we're at 825 on the gray area, guys.
So if you go to
That's
Gray Area
incredible.
Talks, right? You can click on my name there. You can go and give me a follow. You don't have to. I would appreciate if
you might as well do the entire ecosystem. You want to follow Truism Tim, and you want to follow the Gray Area at Gray Area Talks on X, and then you want to go to YouTube or Rumble, your preferred platform of choice, or both. If you have both, I encourage you to do both. Subscribe to us there, and that way, a lot of people report they don't like the interruption on their device if they're browsing on X, and they're also watching our stream or our show. You can do that by going to YouTube or Rumble and then subscribing to us there. That really is the key.
Yep.
And this is what enables us to get guests like Fishback. This is what enables us to do the high quality shows. And
Yes.
we talk about Primal Core because we want to be able to increase production quality. The real thing that you can do for us that's free and helps so much is by going to Gray Area Talks or Truism Tim or Gray Area on YouTube and Rumble and following or subscribing.
It only
there.
takes 2 clicks, guys.
Right. It's the simplest thing in the world. Doesn't cost you anything.
Doesn't cost you anything. And at the end of the day, if you want to keep following our journey, you want to keep watching our show, and you want to get more, the times that we go live, Sunday is our big day. Just like today.
Yes.
We try to bring the best guest on. We try to do the deep dive on education, and we try to give you guys the highest quality content on a Sunday. If you got nothing going on, I know your dad's show ends right around 6 or 7.
And that's why we have the time slot, is because weekdays on Tuesday, Thursday, Wednesday, when we're also live, the show ends at 6 p.m. That's Harrison's War Room. You can catch us afterwards at 7:30. On Sunday, my dad's show ends at 6. If you're an Alex Jones Show viewer, you can catch us after that show. And if you're a Nick Fuentes viewer, you can catch us before Nick. So you're kind of in that perfect sandwich spot.
Yes.
Right. And that's the goal. We want to be accessible to you guys. We want to be there for you. We look at all the comments. We respond to a lot of them. That's what we're here for. We really want your feedback. So go to Gray Area Talks, go to Truism Tim on X, and go ahead and follow those.
Can we do one last thing before we hop off?
Sure.
I just want you to express why you did this show, because a lot of people don't know you off camera like I do. And I got to say here on air, based off of how we started this thing and the things that you told me, I got to give you kudos. I'm proud of everything that you've done and everything that you're trying to define for yourself. So go ahead and express to people who are watching.
I appreciate that. And not only that, in parallel, I think the same is true for you, right? We set off to do this to see if we could get better at it and get better at it and get better at it and get better at it. The goal is not to do a show and to bombard you with our political affiliations, what we think. We wanted to get better at finding information. We wanted to get better at delivering value for the people that are listening and viewing the show. We wanted to do the show so we could become really great orators and express these thoughts that are on our mind. And for me, that was the simple calculation. I was sitting there for years watching the political news, watching the chaos, watching the corruption unfold, and I reached a point where I simply couldn't deal with it anymore. And I came to you and we talked about it. We developed the show. We developed the idea. We developed the process. We're getting better at it every single time because we have to. These are such serious issues, and we live in such a serious time. We're surrounded by war, corruption, death, politics, taxes, everything. That's why we do.
And you had been dormant for a very long time. Your accounts got removed. So this is you guys are watching his origin story again.
Right. We're doing a reboot of the career. And for Tim, we're launching the career. We're launching.
Never been in front of camera like this. I'm 3 months in, guys.
Right.
I'm new to this whole thing. I haven't been part of the camp. But I have every ability to be in.
The beauty in that is that I'm far removed and you're just coming in, and we're both just coming in at the same time, really, in actuality, in the same space. And that's why the show's a gray area. We do not have a white or black political affiliation, or purple or brown or gray or green or red. We're not loyal to a party or a system, because as we've seen in all the investigations that we do, every single one of these things seems to be corrupt. So we're pro-human, we're pro-family, we're pro-Christ, we're pro-America. We're America First. That's who we are doing the show. And that's why both of us are doing the show. And it's like I said, and people will go, well, what does getting better at it mean? Well, I want to get better at being able to eloquently present my ideas like Fishback, right? Because I have those same thoughts and opinions in my mind, and I feel like they're valuable and worth sharing. I know you do too, but it requires a certain level of not just skill and innate talent, but practice in being able to deliver the audience what they want to know.
Right.
So like, that's why we're here. That's why we're doing the gray area.
100%.
I think that's perfect.
I think that's perfect. This is where we're going to end, guys.
Beautiful.
Give us a follow. We're going to be picking probably 3 or 4 people to send free product to.
Free supplements.
So I'm going to go do that either not tonight or tomorrow morning. I will be identifying people and we will be sending them DMs, and we will be reaching out for everybody who has sat there and actually taken the time to go ahead and play the game with us and enjoy.
Beautiful. Beautiful. We appreciate all of y'all. God bless. Happy New Year. Good luck and good night.
Modern life has left us out of balance. Long ago it was once said, certain remedies could grant a man the vitality of a horse. For over 6,000 years, these natural remedies have been harvested and tested by generations. Why create complex formulas when nature's roots are still in our hands? Try Primal Core. Ancient remedies for modern life.